Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen, live on Neeves Knives Live. Look at this stuff. Look at this. My wife's letting me run low on coffee. She said I had to wait a minute until she refills me. I don't know about her. Might have to get rid of her. She's becoming abusive. I reached the bottom of my cup. I don't know what I'm going to do with her. How's everybody doing tonight? Hopefully all is well with everybody. I seen you guys started spitting out what you guys were carrying before we started the live. You guys are supposed to wait for that, so we had to start a minute early so I could stop you guys. I see someone said they were carrying the banter. Great knife. The banter's a great knife. I don't know which one I like better though, between the mini and the regular banter. You'd think I'd like the regular banter more, but I look at them both as secondaries, even though the regular banter, the Wii banter, could totally be a primary for a lot of people, but I look at them both as secondaries. And that mini, it works out so good for little tiny detailed tasks, if you guys know what I mean. And I would carry it. Sorry, my mic is wrapped around me. I would carry it in my my EDC organizer on my hip. So I don't know, but I do like them both though. And for the money, the mini, I mean, I don't know. I guess that's a big difference in price. It's like almost double the price for the Wii one. So got the Hogue EX 3.5. Nice. I need to get some more Hogues on the channel. Definitely. I never even tried the Hogue Deca. I've never tried the Hogue Deca, which is crazy. The Benchmade Super Freak, great knife. Awesome knife. Man, I got a couple knives in for sharpening. I'd love to show you guys, man. Oh, I want to show you guys so bad, especially one of them. Never tried one in my life, and they're known for being an amazing knife, but the letter asked me not to, mess with them too much, just sharpen them and send them back. So, but one of them's a Herman custom. The sound, I don't think I've ever found a knife that sounds so amazing. If I could show you guys right now, it is insanity. It's almost like you're playing a guitar or something. And I mean, it's seriously, like literally, like it's like you twang a chord or a string on a guitar. It's so crazy. Like I hate that I'm even saying anything because without showing you guys are like, yeah, whatever. But it's pretty crazy. Maybe I'll talk to the owner and see if I can't just in one of the videos maybe show just the acoustics really quick. But he just doesn't want them fidgeted with or anything like that, which I don't do that with people's knives anyways, unless they're in for a review. But sometimes I show some of the knives I get in for sharpening to you guys because sometimes it's a knife that's never made it on the channel, or I just want to say my opinion on it real quick. I don't, all I do is open it up, show it, and then put it back in the case, sharpen it, whatever. Spidey Chef, great knife. Love the Spidey Chef. Awesome knife. The Smock, another great one. The Smock, awesome knife. Okay, so for those of you that didn't hear me the other day about the Cormorant from Kaiser, it is on its way to dealers right now, and the titanium ones were only, I thought there was like 200 being made or something like that, but I guess that was only like for like an event. So there's not going to be any titanium ones or anything like that. Just the micarta ones that are going to be like a White Mountain Knives exclusive or whatever. Got the Miguron Acri today. Awesome. That's another thing we're going to talk about. We're going to talk a little bit about one of the Miguron knives, the new one that I have, the S90V. Awesome knife. One thing I really like about them is and this kind of gets distorted in translation because I know the guys from Miguron Knives don't speak English very well. At least I'm imagining they don't. But anyways, what I'm trying to tell them in a video that I'm like reviewing or whatever you know, sometimes I'm saying the things to you guys so you guys know like some of the issues or whatever, or what I think could be better. But I'm also saying it to the makers, right? And sometimes I don't think it relates as well. And I could tell that from one of the last ones. Anyway, so I told him that I would DM him, you know, a message. And I don't know if it, you know, got translated well or not, but I tried to break it down the best way possible for somebody that possibly doesn't speak English very well so they can understand. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's kind of like you know, you kind of show them more than tell them, if that makes sense. What's up, Bees Blades? Bees Blades is in the house. Hey, Bees, I got a check this out. I got a Hank for your ass. Check this one out. I'm gonna send this to you. Bees Blades Hank. It's pretty badass, right? Shout out to Bees Blades. Go and check his channel out. Awesome YouTube channel. The Real Steel Megalodon. Hell yeah. Oh, Dan's got the baby right now. I was flipping the baby earlier. What's up, Mom? My mom's in here. I didn't even see her say anything. You guys caught it. I didn't. Right now, I got the little something small in my pocket. I got the little Civivi bow in my pocket. But I've carried a few things today. So, but this is a badass little knife, guys. I kind of put this in the same category as like the Rhea, the CJRB Rhea, the Elementum, and knives like that. It's just a slicey little guy. It's very thin. The blade stock, I think, is like 80 thousandths. Super slicey. They give you a cut off of the axis to detent it on this one. I can't speak for them all, but this one, the detent, I can't fail it without like cheating. Very smooth, snappy little detent. This one's got the dark green micarta, which the dark green micarta, it looks aged. Oh yeah, I want to throw up a thumbnail really quick. Give me just 2 seconds, guys. I already got it ready, so don't worry. But yeah, what the hell? Why isn't it popping up? It's not popping up for some reason. But yeah, I was carrying this, but then also, you know, since I got my 223 back, the Tucson TS223, man, I love this knife, guys. I love it. This is such a good knife in so many ways. One, the ergo's just melting your hand, but besides that, this thing is a beast of a cutter. Super thin behind the edge, perfect sharpening choil. I couldn't ask for any better sharpening choil or plunge grind. What the hell's going on with my lighting? I got new lighting and everything, but the plunge grind is so perfect. Maybe I should shine these suckers downward. But yeah, you miss it. You miss it already. Awesome knife though, man. I can't the detent on this one is really crisp, really strong. Very nice. I love it. I did have the pivot back out on me a couple times with my regular thread locker, which we're actually going to talk about some of those things later about, you know, like kind of if you're like on a budget with doing the edge maintenance stuff or maintaining your knives, so on and so forth. But I wound up having to use the liquid on this one, the liquid thread locker. My paste would not work for some reason. Neeves, what's the fidgetiest knife you got? I don't know. I think that's I don't know. It's kind of hard to say because like if you mean like how many deployments or just like because everybody's different, you know. I like fidgeting with like everything. Like I could find this Kershaw. This little Kershaw is a badass fidgeter, but I would say it's my best. Even my 380, this thing's awesome to fidget with, but possibly like I don't know, like the whippersnapper's really good. The Tucson TS195 is really good. That's a really good one because you have like 25, you know, forms of deployment. But I got a lot of cool fidget knives, to be honest. Throw a Kaiser or Concept titanium pocket clip on a Civivi bow. Way more comfortable. Yeah. I guess with this size knife, it doesn't bother me too bad because I'm not like, I don't take this. This wouldn't be like when I'm carrying this, it's not usually my primary. Right now, it's my primary. I just got out of the shower, you know, it's kind of my shower knife, you know, but normally I would have a bigger knife on me already. So this wouldn't be like used for like anything like where I'm really bearing down. It's going to be used like this for me, you know, opening things up, slicing things. So the clip doesn't really bother me, but I see what you mean. It could definitely use something not as tall as it is. The TS162. You talking about this one? Or no, this is the 223. The 162. Oh, the 162 is a fantastic knife. I actually have one. Someone's got it right now, but I do have that one. I got it in S90V. Great knife. Great knife. That is a slicing beast. That thing is a demon at slicing. I forget what it was behind the edge, but it was like 10 thousandths behind the edge. Very, very slicey. And it's a big knife too. That's the next thing. It's like a 4-inch blade. Shower knife, that's hardcore. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Every time it seems like when I jump in the or like when I go in the shower, like there'll be some little tiny reason why I need a knife, like to open up razors or something. You know how those razors come. You can't fucking just open them up. You need a knife, right? It even says scissors. And it's like every time I go in the shower, I wind up needing a knife. So now it's like I ain't jumping in that thing without having one on me. Can someone recommend a fidgety 3-ish Tonto? 3-ish? I don't know about 3-ish. 3.5, you got the Brazen. The Civivi Brazen. They have the Tonto and the drop point version, but that's a 3.5. Another one is the Kaiser Land. They got the Kaiser Land super fidgety. That's a good one. Those are only two I can think of right off the top of my head, Tonto wise. They do have for a 3-inch. I consider it fidgety because I can reverse flick it, but they have the copper. I think they might have it in a couple different ones, but they have the Civivi Elementum. They have the. I'm gonna do something with this lighting because for some reason you guys can't see me very well. Why is this so damn dark? Anyways, they have the Civivi Elementum in a Tonto, which is really good. These things are awesome. I like to fidget with them, but that's me. And if you get the coated blade, which I believe all the Tontos are coated blades, they're easy to reverse flick, in my opinion. So not everybody can do that, but I have no problem with it. I love that knife. Another knife we're going to talk about. I'm sending my Waypoint back to warranty tomorrow. I've taken it apart and oiled it already. We'll see if it gets voided. I don't think they'll void it. As long as you didn't break anything besides screws, I don't think they'll. I broke screws on mine. They sent me new ones. But I don't think they void it. Sometimes companies say things that they really have no intention on like voiding. Like they'll say like, oh, if you take it apart, it voids the warranty, right? First of all, don't tell them you took it apart. That's the first thing. Don't ever be like, hey, I took my knife apart. Are you still going to cover it? Don't do that. Just send it in. But as long as you put it back together, even like Greg Medford said, if you put the knife back together, fine. I'll obviously I'm not going to void your warranty, but he had so many people putting it back together, like all messed up. Like there are companies though, they'll say, man, just throw it in a box with all the parts. We'll fix it. Absolutely. The lighting is fine. Yeah. It's just a little dark when I go towards the screen. Like when I'm trying to show something, I have 3 new lights I bought. But the other one I have set up by the knife bench, or my workbench, but I have 3 in here right now, but it's like dark when I'm towards the screen, but I have all the lights facing the ceiling on purpose because if they're facing me, it's just way too bright. So what you do, and this is a trick for anybody who wants to know like how to set up a studio with lighting, a good way to get the lighting to really look really good, especially like on the tables where there's not tons of shadowing, you face them straight up towards the ceiling and just let the light transfer downward. quiet carry against taking them apart. What's the issue with the waypoint? I had a few issues with my waypoint, but they told me to send it in. I didn't, though. I just took care of it myself. They sent me parts, but they told me to send it in because of the one issue I was having. I fixed it myself, but we're actually going to talk about like some little issues on things you can fix yourself. So I shouldn't be chewing gum on live. I'm sorry, guys. How am I going to do this? Okay, so Tucson TS240, I think this is. Cue ball. What is this one? The 240, right? Anyways, the 240, man, this knife is so awesome. I love this knife, and I'm hating this lighting right now. Let me see if this helps. I'll just go like that. This knife is so awesome. It's such a great knife. And me, because this is cue balls, but the detent is so well tuned on this. I honestly think I already talked to cue ball. I might actually send this to Lefty EDC because now I know he won't like it. He'll find something not to like about it, but man, you can't deny this action. It's so good. So good. This detent is like the best detent I've ever felt on a Tucson. And I've felt a lot of great detents on Tucsons, but this one just, the way the flipper tab is set up on the blade and the pivot, it's like it kicks. It almost, and especially when you try, like right there, I was like trying to fail it, but when you actually try, it almost feels like one of those, what are those flipper tabs called? The kicks, I don't know, kick something, the ones that where it's like a the flipper tabs that move, and when you close it, it actually pops up right here. It's called something, I forgot. Anyways, I drew on this one right here. You guys can see if my shit wouldn't be all messed up. Hang on a second. Let me try this. Turning down the lights and now. Oh, it gets worse when I do that. Hang on one second. All right, let me do that. That might help, actually. Anyways, I drew on this thing to show you guys that because me and Cuba were talking, and I'm not going to do it, you know, but, or I might do it. I don't know if he wants me to do it, I'll do it. But we were talking about if this didn't have an upswept tip, how much better it would be. Now, look what I did to it. I drew on it, but you guys can't see it for fuck's sake. If I angle it. How can I? There we go. I drew on the tip so you guys could like see how it would look. Basically, where you just cut off the tip and make it a drop point. Man, why is this like this right now? It's driving me nuts. Here, I got an idea. Will that work? No. This camera sucks, man. I'm about sick of this camera. But anyways, you cut off the tip and make it a drop point. You see it, but you don't, though, because I can see what you guys see, and I'm trying to show you that I drew there. Now it's finally popping up. I drew on the tip, and it's dark. It's a shadow over it. You guys cannot see it. You guys see it when I go like that, but it doesn't do it justice. Anyways, if I do that, it will be the blade shape I'd want that knife to be. And personally, then I would just, me personally, I would just love it. Because the one thing that stops me from like just saying, man, this knife is so amazing is that the tip up sweeps. You guys can't see it just fine. Trust me. I can see what you guys see. Now let's get into some of these topics. You guys don't see it, Ruben. I'm telling you guys can't see shit. Where's my coffee? All right. So, I have a bunch of subjects we're going to talk about, and we're kind of going to go down a list. So it's between like things on a knife on like different categories, right? Like, so we're going to start it off by, because before last live, we were talking about edge stability, right? Edge stability. And what's so important about edge stability? Well, for those of you guys that weren't in here, edge stability is really important because it basically, like, there's lots of different reasons why, but like one, it's like when you're sharpening, right? When you're sharpening, you're trying to get that really keen edge, like that nasty keen edge. Well, that's gonna come from edge stability because it allows you to really bring that edge out to a really fine tip. Whether or not it holds it is another story. And that's why sometimes with some of the super steels, they will have like a great, like a long lasting working edge, but their fine edge will go away really quick. Like if you ever watch some of the cut tests, like it's like they do so many feet of fine edge and then it goes right down to working edge, but then the working edge lasts forever, right? It's because the edge stability, it's not it's basically just knocking off that really fine edge that's required to like whittle hair, right? So that's one thing, right? It lets you get that really nasty fine edge. Well, and then other things too, like say hardwood, right? Really dense hardwood. You know, when you're like say whittling or cutting out a notch or whatever you do with wood, and it's really dense wood, and you know how like you kind of grit the edge into it by rolling your edge into it. Well, to stop that from chipping, edge stability, right? It takes edge stability. Your edge stays nice and stable and survives. You know, it doesn't get all chippy. It can last through that stuff. But yeah, I love a good working edge too. But so edge stability is I think it's really important for a lot of things, right? A lot of things. But then it's also not so important sometimes because and I'm talking about like a crazy amount of edge stability. Obviously, we want enough edge stability to stop it from chipping. We want that edge stability. We want the edge stability to stop it from rolling the edge, chipping the edge, and things like that. But with the really keen edge, that's not as important. Like obviously we love it, right? We just love it because you know it's something else to love having such a razor sharp knife. But in all reality, your working edge is what's gonna do work for you, right? You're not gonna really notice much difference between that fine edge and that working edge, at least with regular everyday carry tasks. Ken Harris, thanks for the donation. Them 600 grit edges are the truth. Yeah, I love 600 grit. That's my favorite edge on a knife, 600 grit. In my opinion, it keeps the bite the longest, has the most bite. With a lot of steels, you can whittle hair with a 600 grit. Some steels it does take, you do have to get up to like 1,000 grit because the edge stability. This is where edge stability comes in. You have to get that tip of the very apex basically smaller than a hair, right? However big micron or hair is micron wise, that edge needs to get down that fine to where it can whittle a hair. But with a lot of edges, that type of edge you're never gonna use. Like think about it. When do you in your day-to-day tasks need to whittle hair, right? It's fun, but it really doesn't do you much justice. And that same edge versus a good clean working edge, it's going to feel the same going through things. The big difference is whether or not it's going to be able to whittle hair and shave hair and things like that. Obviously, there are some things like if we're talking about shaving a face and stuff, then yes, but not too many of us are shaving our face with our knife. If your name is Jared, who is Neve? Okay. Nice to see you do live stuff. Thank you, Pierre. Jared Neve, I believe. Yes, I'm Jared Neve. Neeves Knives is me and my wife. Neeves, because last name is just Neve. Neeves is like plural, you know, two different people are knives. Neeves, or you can just look at it as my knives. Neeves Knives, like Jared's knives. Neeves Knives. What's up, Richie B? Hey, somebody was trying to contact you guys. He didn't have an Instagram. I know your guys' books are filled and everything, but you know, I didn't want to just, tell him like, hey, he's not going to talk to you. His books are filled. So I told him the only other way I could think of was on your channel. So just letting you guys know, he's probably going to contact. I sent him a link to your guys' YouTube channel. So, and I'm talking to Richie B from Knife Modders. Definitely go and sub to their channel. And if you're not following them on Instagram, you should be, because they're doing big time shit. Big time shit. I bent the tip of my wee mini buster. Damn. It's a very tiny curve. How can I fix it? Resharpening. It needs an edge reprofile. So you're gonna want to. I'd have to see it, to be honest. If you bent it or chipped it, I guess I didn't read that right. I bent the tip. Okay, you bent the tip. Bend it back. I'd have to see it because it just depends. Depends on if it can be bent back or if it's just like, because sometimes I've had people say I broke my tip, and I'm thinking like I broke my tip, and then it gets here and it's like just a little chip, and it's like it's sharpening, but it just depends. Thank you, Mama. That's my mama. All right, so but it's still, with edge stability, it still is extremely important when we're talking about like the big grand scheme of things, like I said, with wood and shit like that. And certain even hard plastics. Like a lot of us know, some of us don't. Like M390 was made for the plastics industry, right? So that's why M390 is really good with plastic. Its edge can last a long time, like with dense plastic and things like that. But some dense plastic can be horrible for your edge. It just depends. But that would be another thing. Like say hard duty straps. Like I got some straps at work that they'll kill an edge. So it does depend. But I think it's extremely important. But when we're talking about it in the way of that fine, keen edge, that's for fun. Unless like I said, if you're shaving with your shit. Where am I? There it is. All right. Toughness. Okay, toughness in your EDC knife. Now, when I was listening to Laren Thomas, when I was on Knife Junkie podcast, you know, he mentioned that toughness isn't really that big of a deal with pocket knives. And in a way, I want to disagree with them, you know, but I don't too, because it's Laren Thomas and I have, you know, I have no ability to challenge him with anything talking about heat treats or steels or anything. I have utmost respect for him. But with toughness, obviously, we know what, well, for those of you that don't know toughness is going to be what it sounds like, you know, how tough the steel is going to be, because usually when toughness goes up, edge retention goes down, vice versa. Lots of different, that's usually how it goes. Now, obviously, we are always fighting for the steel that has everything, has good stain resistance, good toughness, good edge retention. But with toughness, most knives, and I do agree with that. With most pocket knives, your toughness isn't that big of a deal. Now, when we're talking about fixed blades, that's a completely different story. But for regular folders, right, folding knives, toughness isn't too big of a deal. You'd almost rather have the edge retention than the toughness, because we're cutting with it, right? It's a cutting tool. A cutting tool you want to cut for a long time. You're not really worried about it prying and things like that. So I do understand that, but I do think though I know like with toughness, right? A tougher steel has the abilities to get thinner behind the edge, because since the steel is tougher, you're able to grind it thinner. Now, in reality, all the steels are steel, so they're going to have a level of toughness no matter what. Even when we're talking about steels that have the lowest amount of toughness, still are pretty tough. Not for being a chopper, but for grinding purposes, to grind them nice and thin. They're still steel, but the harder they are, the higher the edge retention goes up, and the lower the toughness, the more chances you're going to have of your your tip chipping, or other things like that. BGM crew wear is my favorite. Yeah, I love me some crew wear. Crew wear is the shit. Magna Cut Super Clean. Gotta try it, man. I gotta try it. I had a dream. I think I had a dream I had some. I just seeing that, I just thought of that. I had a dream last night. I had some Magna Cut. Tri-State says, and shout out to Tri-State EDC. Go and sub to his channel as well. I hate a chip tip the worst. Yeah, I think you know what? With sharpening, that's probably the biggest thing people call about that drive them nuts. Like, people will call and be like, "Listen, man, I got this knife. I chipped the tip out of it, and I refuse to carry it." It's like they chip the tip on the knife, and it's like a microchip in reality. A microchip. The knife's perfectly fine. You could even use the tip still, but it drives them nuts so bad that the microscopic chip is there, and they will refuse to carry that knife. And I understand, because I'm the same way. I do the same shit with sharp knives. It would be, wait, if we would use a knife as a knife, not a open toolbox. Yeah, but you're gonna have those knives that's what they are, right? There's a reason why they're ground so thick. There's a reason why they have the lock strength they have. There's a reason, all the reasons they have of being a hard use knife gives them the ability to do up and beyond things than just cutting. And in the story tonight, we're gonna tell a couple stories later on, but like doing construction and things like that, that's just normal. Like, for people with they get their knife not to just cut things, but to do like multi-tool tasking. Like, nobody in construction just uses their knife, or at least from what I know of. They don't just use their knife for cutting. Dude, just received my K3 outdoor. Okay. I've had crew wear chip easy before on my PM2. Well, with anything, heat treat. So don't, just because a steel treats you a certain way from X company, don't put that across the board on every single model from X company or to B company. Don't do that, because we do fall victim to doing that. I do that too. I've done it. Everybody's done it, where we get a steel, it gives us a certain result, and we paint the entire steel with that brush. You don't want to do that, because you don't know, like, you want to have a control, basically, where you have, like, say, a few models, or you've tried that steel multiple times, so like, okay, this is a common issue. All right, that then you can really say, like, yeah, for me, that steel's a little chippy. Because it does come down to personal things you do and the heat treat. And then it could be the company, the way they're doing it. Like, what was it, 2 years ago? There were steels from certain companies that were ran super soft, super soft. So if we painted that steel with that brush, literally nobody would ever want that steel, even though if they just bumped it up a couple notches in HRC, the steel's incredible, right? So it's kind of like when Benchmade was doing 3V at like 57 HRC. And with the argument that it's tougher, right? It makes it tougher. Well, actually, it made it like putty. It made it like where it would bend, but I noticed in some cases you'd rather it bend than snap, but the type of knife it is, and that's a big thing too. What kind of knife is it? What's it for? All those details, because with that kind of knife, you want the 3V strength, but you need edge retention, and you don't want your edge retention to go to shit because you don't have good HRC, and then the HRC is so low that if you did try to hard use it, it's just gonna bend. So but yeah, I try not to do that too. Like I have had people ask me my experience with certain steels, and even though I've had multiple experiences, I don't like to paint it. Like I don't like to say, yeah, this steel is like this. I just say like, listen, I've had only a couple experiences with it, and you know, this is how it was with that, but I wouldn't say that for all of them, because I mean, we got in trouble with that with steels a couple of years ago where people were doing the same thing. And we don't want it to be an echo chamber either. D2 is not created equal by all companies. Oh, hell no. Same thing like with M390. And no steel really is. The only steels you could say that about is if no steel. I'm not even going to say any steel. No steel you can do that with. But there are those outliers of steels that have more variables. Is Richie B still in here? Richie, you still in here? I got a question for you. I have good experience with one knife this way. It's law. 58 to 60 seems to be 3V sweet spot. I think it's a little higher than that. But I'm not 100% on that. I forget what Benchmade was running it at. It might even been lower than what I just said. It might have been more like 56 or something. But I thought I remembered 50, like 56 or 57 is what they were running it. I think. I think that's what it was. But they were saying that it was 59 to 60, I think, or 58 to 60. But it wound up being a couple points lower than they were advertising. Okay, Richie. So my question is, and this is an honest question because I was thinking about this earlier and I actually wrote it down because I wanted to ask somebody in here. So, and I guess I'm going to have a conversation about it and you just tell me if I'm right or wrong because I could be completely off. So with say super steels, right? Like, so the difference between like VG10 or S90V, right? Well, S90V is S90V easier to burn than whatever steel, right, that you would consider more budget. Is a super steel easier to burn than a budget steel? I understand that it's going to take more belts, right? So the belts it's going to take more belts. So in that sense, does it burn easier because you're going through more belts or because it's taking more work? Because the budget steel will be a lot easier to grind. So it's going to take less effort and less belt time. And since the S90V is, you know, so much more wear resistant or whatever, more harder, whatever, that you wind up going through more belts. So you have the possibilities of burning it because you're going through more belts and because it's harder. Thank you, baby.
I gotta tell you something. I poured a little bit in a cup for me as well. So, like, it needs to be mixed a little bit. So it tastes a little strong, but it's just because
I'm okay with it. I'm good with the strong. I like it strong. Thank you, baby.
Sure.
Thank you.
Turning into ice
Oh,
cream
it's great.
Ooh,
I like that.
Hi, everybody.
It's perfect.
Guess what?
It's perfect.
I'm making sugar cookies shaped like damn knives.
Are you serious?
I'm not fucking kidding.
That's awesome.
I'm making a Neevesknives logo one. I made like a Warren Clippy shaped knife. I dropped that, so I ate it. And then I have just like a regular knife. I'm making a coffee cup.
Sugar cookies are made out of knives. Or knife shaped cookies.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I use that little tiny knife you told me to carve them. That's what I'm using it for.
Oh, that's why you asked me for that knife. Okay, now it makes sense. Now it makes sense. I was wondering, like, what the fuck is she doing with that little piece of
knife to make a knife.
She wanted that little crap knife I did that video about.
Crap knife?
Yeah.
Why is it crap?
Because the clip is where the blade is, and you can actually push the clip in there and hit the edge.
Yeah, but for like what it is, as a little pen.
Yeah, it's
just it off your shirt. I don't think it's crap. But
no,
it's kind of classy looking. Actually,
I said that. I said it has a lot of potential, but it's crap the way it came from the factory.
It is so hot in here with all these lights.
Why? They're not hot. The lights don't get hot.
I walked in here, started sweating. Instant.
I don't feel hot. It's just you, baby. You're just hot.
I will be back. Well, not here, but like I'll be back down here.
Well, bring me a knife cookie.
Well, there's only one knife cookie because I dropped the other one, so you'll get a circle. I want to take a picture of the knife first, next to a knife.
Okay. I want a knife cookie
I'll give you a circle one. Listen, I dropped the other knife cookie.
I wanted a knife cookie to eat. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Don't you want to take a picture on
Yes,
it or
yes,
something?
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
I'm
All right.
making a Neeves Knives logo too.
All right. Did Richie answer my question, or because I'm just curious, like if super steels burn easier than budget steels? And and I'm talking about through heat treat and through grinding, because I know that's two separate things, right? Excuse me, guys. Grinding it, it'll heat up from the belts, and I imagine that in that case, yes, because you're going through more belts, and the belts it takes more time, and you have to struggle a little bit more with the belts. Um, Man, got a steal. What's up, bud? These knives, that's a very good question. In some situations, that can be the case. The extra work needed to grind the bevels can cause burning. You can see that with some manufacturers like Spyderco. I've actually seen it well, I actually showed it on the channel when they were burning an edge. But yeah, the grinding of the steel, the grinding of the edge, all the different grinding, and I'm curious about the heat treat too, like all of the above. I would say yes and no. Richie B says it's easier to burn the edge on the harder steel because it takes longer to grind, right? At the same time, if you're dunking whenever it gets warm, it's not really an issue. Right. Right, yeah. Because in the same breath, you can heat it up, but you can also keep it cool, right? You can keep that happy medium temperature where it's never getting up to hot. But then what about with heat treating it? Is it more susceptible? Does it take higher temperature? I don't know, right? I don't know about heat treating really. I've never heat treated a knife, so I don't know if super steels take higher temperatures, or if they are easy. I do know that some steels are more easily affected like with a variation of temperature. Like, spoke about this a bunch of times, like M390. The reason why a lot of companies wind up messing up M390, not messing it up, but messing it up, right? Messing up M390 is because it has a small window of temperature to make it good, to make it perfect. So if it goes higher or lower than that temperature, right, by I think it's like 50 degrees or something, then the heat treat is compromised. So some steels have a way bigger window of temperature variation. The only seen burnt edges from Spyderco on their budget knives. I've got a few knives last year from their second sale. They both had burnt edges. So I used to see burnt steel from Spyderco, but lately, I'll be honest, man, the steels I've seen from Spyderco in the past, unless if they were older, right? Unless they were older, but like the more recent purchases, the newer knives, they've all been solid, like really, really good. Like surprisingly good. I'll tell her you said hi, Mom. She's upstairs cooking me some cookies. Neeves, hope you're doing good. What's a good high-end steel budget fixed blade that's not too small, but not too big either? I wouldn't say it's high-end steel, but Civivi's got the Elementum fixed blade. I would look into that one. You got the D2 and then a 10CR version. So you got a stainless version and a non-stainless version. Great fixed blade. I got one right here. Oh shit. And I got this one too. So depending on the size you're talking about, this is a great fixed blade. So it comes basically the same knife, two different handles. One's a little grippier, and this one's the smooth G10. One's in 10CR and one's in D2. This one is the one in 10CR, I believe, or is this the one in D2? I don't remember now. I think this doesn't matter, but one comes in 10CR, one comes in D2. Now, there's also the rake model, which I don't know why Civivi didn't do this. They should have did this in 14C28N. That just makes so much more sense, but Rake has the Jagger, which this is in 14C. Oh, yeah, we got to talk about that too, guys. I might have convinced Rake to make a knife. But this is a good knife, solid knife, hard use knife, very comfortable in the hand. 14C tech lock. The clip, awesome Kydex sheath. Now, I talked to Rake, and I might have convinced them, possibly, obviously it's not going to happen tomorrow, but I talked them into making a titanium version of the 801 in 14C28N. The only difference is titanium. That would be sweet, because they were asking me which one would be better, 154 cm or 14C. I said both are great choices, but I think a lot of people would rather, because they do a good job with their 14C. So, but they already have it in 14C, right? They already have the knives made in 14C. So I thought about like that probably save money, right? And then be able to bring it to us a little bit cheaper, possibly. I don't know if that's true, but I would love to see it in 14C. Same steel, just with titanium. I think that would be awesome. Dad joke of the day. Guys, I designed my own knife. It uses cutting edge technology. Rake Chi-Town Stabber. Rake Chi-Town Stabber. The Smooth G10 looks so good. I've never seen anyone do it like that Sevivi. Check out the Hinder's website. They just released a recurved spear point on their website. No shit. That's crazy. I am gonna check that out. Hey, would like to hear your thoughts about fixed blade EDCs in general. It seems people outside of military law enforcement or outdoors disregard them as unpractical, no matter how tougher they are. So I don't think like that. So I think of knives as a tool. And all knives are good. I don't care if we're talking about a chef knife, a fixed blade, a small fixed blade. Check these out. There's only a few of these left, but these are so awesome. I should have bought one, but they only had a few of them left, and I think they might have a couple left still. But these little guys are so awesome. These little CRKTs. It's like a little tiny, this thing is so thin, and it's a hollow grind. It's stupid thin. And this thing, just like a little paring knife. This thing would be so good as a fishing knife. Then this big brother is also awesome. This thing is so comfortable. This thing is a badass little fixed blade. Yeah, I know they don't use great steel or anything, but these things are solid, man. Love these little guys. But yes, I do think that with abuse, right? When we're talking about abuse, and we don't have to talk about abuse because I think there's some great EDC fixed blades for self-defense, for work. I've talked about it many times. Like the Sea Snake is an awesome little work knife, especially if you're doing utility cuts and you're not having to bear down, like where you're just like opening things up. Fantastic knife. But when you're doing like real hard work, hard use, prying, stabbing into things and doing some, some crazy shit, a fixed blade is the way to go. Now, aside from that, just talking about regular EDC use, you will never have a more comfortable knife than a fixed blade. So if you're doing long-term things, and I'm just going into long-term right now, we can talk about short-term, but long-term things, a fixed blade is always going to be the best option. It's more comfortable. It's, you don't have to worry about the clip. It's easy to clean. So many reasons. Now, even for short-term things, when you get good with it, in and out of the sheath, I think, we get so used to the folder in and out of the pocket, snap it open, put it right back, on our clip. But you can do the same thing with a fixed blade on the belt. Keep your pockets empty. Now you got all the room for your bullshit in your pockets, and you won't even realize you have it. Like there's been times I carry a fixed blade on the front of my belt. I forget I even have it until I need it or go to the bathroom. I'm Ken Harris says, I kind of want to try the SPK knife shark model in Vanex. I think it would be a hell of a fixed blade EDC. I want to get more knives in Vanex. I only got the one. I'll tell her, Ruben. I will tell her when she comes back. Ruben and then my mom. Come on, pen. Pivot stability. That's the next thing. We're going to talk about pivot stability. So we started talking about edge stability, toughness, things like that. Now, pivot stability. Now, we all want a strong pivot, right? We know none of us want blade play. We all want our pivots to be nice and strong. And I think some of us care about it more than others. You know, with certain knives, obviously, it's not that big of a deal. Like when we're talking about little knives like this, it's not that big of a deal. But when we start working our way up to, you know, full-size knives, or it doesn't even have to be, it could be a little lightweight knife. We want that stability. Now, changing out the bearings, right? Changing out the bearings can increase the action. It can, absolutely. Changing out some good bearings, good quality bearings, especially if they're crappy bearings. I've had so many times I've opened up a knife and you know the open face bearings where it's like a brass cage and you have the ceramic bearings in there where the cage is all warped and messed up. I even had it one time where the holes where the ceramic balls are supposed to be weren't even round. They were square. Seriously, you want to talk about shitty action? Also, I went and bought a Tuya. Whoa, did you? Went and bought. Oh yeah, you got the. I know which one you got. You got that new one, the big belly. I almost thought you were gonna say the NV2, but yeah, that big belly's pretty awesome. What's up, clown? Thank you for the donation. Who doesn't want a wiggly jiggly knife? I do. Okay, so besides clown, because he's a clown, right? Clowns like, you know, they're like balloon knives and stuff. But most people, they want stability in their pivots. Now, sometimes you'll get that, the feeling of where you almost feel like you could break the knife, right? There's been so many times where like, I feel like I could just snap that knife. And in some cases, getting new bearings can increase that. Like with Shurogorov uses the multi-row bearings. Now, I've heard that more balls in a bearing actually slows down the action. So, like even Gillian told me this. Gillian, he makes custom bearings, and he said his bearings where he has more balls are actually, it slows down the action. It's not as falsetty. Now, when he takes the balls out and it's less balls in a bearing, he'll get more drop shutty action. But with the balls, even though the action slows down, the pivot stability goes up. The strength in the pivot goes up. So you kind of got to balance it out. Which one's more important? Do you want that strength in the pivot, or do you want the false shutty action? Now we all know Shurogorovs are known for having incredible action, but most of them, not all, there are some really false shut ones, but most of them are like this. Most of them have a nice controlled drop where it's not like, it doesn't just slam down. Does this slam down? Let me see. No, but okay, it's not just like wham. It doesn't just wham, slam down. It's more of a controlled drop where it's like that, which is really nice. But these things are incredibly strong side to side. Like they feel like a vault. I've held a bunch of them, and every Shuro I've ever felt where the pivot wasn't loose, all felt extremely solid, yet all were like, they're just super smooth. Now that probably has to do with having the multi-row bearings in some cases, but if you're gonna get new bearings, this is where I'm going with this. If you're gonna get new bearings, right? Some bearings might slow down the action, but increase the strength of your pivot, while some might make it better. But don't always think that more balls is going to equal smoother action. In most cases, that will slow down your action, but increase the strength. Are you guys talking about Coca-Cola or cocaine? It's 9:30 there. 8:30 here. Almost. I think the knife world was fine with phosphor bronze. Well, there's some knives I think that are just stupid smooth on phosphor bronze washers, especially when they have a chance to over time break in and get really smooth. Like I have a bunch of knives, man, that they showed up stiff. Like my Spartan. This knife, shit, even my Spartan was super stiff at one time. Now it's super smooth. And if I flick it a couple times, this thing will wind up getting basically fall shut. Not like bearing fall shut, but very, very smooth on the drop. Hey, look at that. But it took a while. It did take a while. They had to take a while to break in. Now, other knives like where they don't have the detent pushing on them, because the reason why this just falls shut is because there's not a detent ball pushing pressure. So a frame lock puts pressure on the detent. So as soon as you unlock it, right? As soon as right now, right? That's how it falls perfectly when the blade or the lock bar is released. But as soon as that lock bar pressure gets back on the blade, now it slows it down a little bit. With an access lock, you don't have that. You're taking that lock bar, that detent strength off of it. But a lot of people, they like having that feeling right out of the box. You know, we are in a time where we want instant gratification, right? We want instant gratification. We don't want to wait for nothing. All right, do you remember when well, not everybody in here, but you guys remember back in the day, like even with the computers, right? Like when you did something, you'd have to wait like 30 seconds just for it to do it. Like you push enter and then you just sit there and wait. Because it wasn't like you just pushed enter and it happened. You know, everything took time. You had to have patience. But now we want instant gratification. We want to be able to push enter, bam, the page flips. We want to be able to get our knife right out of the box and it just slap shut, just drop shut perfectly, as long as the pivot's tight. But our tolerances are getting better. A lot of things are happening where they do have the ability to do that. Now, I've argued about it many times. There are a lot of bearing knives that are better than phosphor bronze. Just depends on what you do. Like, I guess that's arguable. That is arguable. But I've definitely seen some warped phosphor bronze washers. Ceramic bearings are incredibly hard. Like you're not going to break ceramic bearings. Tri-State Coke infused and Freddie Mercury. What the hell? Yeah, dial-up internet. Exactly. It took him like 15 minutes to load a pick of Pamela Anderson's knockers. What a nightmare. The late 90s were right. But it was normal. It was normal. I remember getting so pissed, like so mad. And that's why I was never good with computers, because I had no patience. Like it drove me nuts waiting for the page to flip or the picture to come up, like just to pop up, like fuck all that, man. I'd want to break the computer just from waiting. When someone in the house picked up the phone and would mess up the download, waiting 30 to 45 minutes for one song to download. Right. And now it's like that. Even with my downloads to the internet, I think about it like how slow it is, right? Even though in reality it's like 5 minutes. It's so fast, especially compared to before. And we're talking about it, 1440 at 30 frames per second or whatever the hell it is. So, I mean, that's pretty fast to upload that shit. Had to go get my wireless earbuds because my wife turned on CMA Awards, Country Music Awards, even though she ain't watching that shit. You got mail. Yep. 30 feet of wire running through the house like a tripwire. Shit, I remember my sister on a and we'll get back to knives. This will be the last thing. I remember my sister on the cord phones, right? Not cordless phones, cord phones. And she would want to talk to whoever, right? Boys, girls, friends, whatever. And you're embarrassed when you're a kid. You don't want to talk in front of, to your friends in front of everybody. So our cord was extra long, right? And I'm talking about the spiral one, from the phone to the, where you hang it up. And she would walk around the corner into the bathroom. Right. So she'd walk around the corner of the bathroom. That cord dragged up and down the wall so much that our wall was just tore to shit. And my mom would get pissed because she'd keep doing it. She'd keep walking around the corner with the phone, and the cord would just drag the wall and just ruin the wall. Spirit's in here? What's up, Spirit? Yeah, there he is. What's up, Ryan? You've nearly met. He's doing the Bane thing. You've merely adapted to the internet. I was born in it, molded by it. I didn't see a stable internet connection until I was a man. Bane. Come on. Here we go. It wouldn't go all the way down to the end of the comments. Fair and Forge Stinger. Best of the best bang for your bucks under $100. I do have some more videos coming, guys. I'm putting together some holiday videos, some good videos for the holidays for people that are basically not knife people, but they're looking, because there's going to be a lot of people looking for gifts for the holidays. So I figured it'd be a good time, but I'm going to try to incorporate maybe knives that you guys maybe aren't seeing on the channel a lot, or I don't know how I'm going to do it perfectly yet. I already posted one today because those knives, in my opinion, because I have a lot of knives loaned out. So for the knives I have here, that's basically what I would recommend. Like if somebody said, hey, I got 50, 60 bucks or whatever, what knife should I get my man, or what knife should I get her, or whatever? Those are the knives I'd probably recommend. Now, obviously there are other knives. Like if you change the price, if you say, well, for $100, but I was trying to find knives in the bracket of what people give gifts for, right? Obviously, a lot of times, like if it's your wife or your girlfriend, she might spend a little bit more money, or you might on her, vice versa. But a lot of times, like for stocking stuffers and things like that, people, if you tell them $100 knife, they are not going. Like they're not going to buy that. So I was trying to figure out the best like bang for your buck knives that are just incredible values. Like this little bow, man. This Civivi bow is an awesome little knife. This is a fantastic knife to get somebody as a gift. Not just gift yourself this knife. This is an awesome little secondary or primary, whatever. Super snappy, really good in my micarta too. I like that. Well, I don't know. I like it and I don't like it. So it seems like Civivi upgrades their micarta, but with baby steps. If you guys notice that, instead of Civivi doing like say Kaiser, right? Kaiser, what did they do with their micarta? They went from here to here with their micarta. They went from crappy micarta to amazing micarta. Civivi says we're going to get to the great micarta, but we're going to do it in baby steps. Every time you see new micarta, it's going to be a little bit better than the last. Their micarta is too slippery. You're talking about Civivis? Well, like this stuff is not. This stuff is pretty good. Even where is it? I got that new knife. Here it is. This stuff is very, you can hear it. This stuff is, you can feel the fabric in this stuff. This one is the Relic. Really good. It's decent. You can tell it's gonna age with you a little bit, but yeah, I do agree that their first stuff, like the Civivi, the first batch of Civivi Elementums, they weren't the best. They were too. I don't even know if it's polished or if it was the resin they used. I need to find my dad a flipper gentleman knife that's an M390 or comparable. I gave him a Civivi Chronic in Damascus. He dulls it way too fast. I got it. The Civivi, the new Civivi, dang it, I don't know if he's gonna be good with front flippers, but it's got a fuller on it where you can flick it. Dang it, I always forget the name of that one. The Drifter 2. That's S35VN, super thin, so it'll cut even if it's dull. That's a good one. This one's a good one too, but this is Nitro V. Nitro V is a fantastic steel. So I would go with something like this. Like, that's why I put it in the video, because I thought about, man, this is such a great knife for a grandpa, a dad, an uncle. Perfect. Now, the Drifter 2 is another one. However, that is a front flipper. You can reverse flick it. It has a fuller to reverse flick. Grandpas and uncles, you know, that aren't already knife guys aren't really reverse flicking, though. Yes, thank you, Ken. See, Ken knew what I was talking about. Thank you. I agree, Shane, but I'm hoping, I don't know. Hopefully they do improve that micarta, but their micarta on their new knives are better than that stuff, but it's a small improvement. It's not like a jump up. This knife's pretty cool, but I don't know if it's for everybody, and it is a front flipper. However, you can flick it if you grip it like this, but it has the multi-tool on the other side. And this multi-tool is a 9CR 18 MOV. The cutter, the belt cutter is sharp, very sharp. Has the bottle opener, the tool for the bits. It has a little measuring tape on it. It's pretty cool. This Relic comes with a pair of tweezers in the back. Pretty cool. They're cheap tweezers though. They're not going to do too much. Most likely the resin they use on their outer layer probably to hold in the color and keep your skin oils from causing stain marks. Yeah, well, that's how it was before, and it would get darker, but it would take forever. This stuff's different. This stuff will get dark quick. I can tell. This stuff it'll soak in oils really quick. This stuff's already pre-done, so it's dark green micarta, and it seems like it's already broken in. Like, if you even just look at these two, they are completely, it might look the same on the camera, but they are different. There you go. You can see how this one's broken in. This one's like fresh. But that's a good knife, though, to get somebody. Okay, so me and Talica were talking about titanium hardware earlier or yesterday. I don't remember when, but top 5 knives in your current collection. Go. Can't do that, man. Don't try to do that to me, because I'll start fucking going crazy. I'll lose my damn mind. So we're not going to do that. You guys can do that, but I'm out of the loop on that one, because if I start trying to do things like that, I'll be arguing with my knives. I'll be trying to adopt other ones and figure it out and replace ones. And the whole fucking episode will be me trying to figure out my top 5 knives. Can't do it. What's your newest knife? My newest knife. Oh, those piece of crap knives. I think that's my newest knife. Yeah. And then these Civivis. But also this one, the Cormorant, the super fidgety Cormorant. And oh, no, actually my newest knife is the Megaron. Sorry, this one. We're going to talk about this one a little bit. Ooh, this thing's pretty sweet too. Super easy front flipper. This thing is so easy. You guys don't even know. Like, look at this. I can do this with the back of my thumb. It's so easy. And it's stupid smooth. Really good knife. I just have the 2 complaints. The one, and I told them about this, the plunge grind, which I could fix, but the plunge grind and the clip is really strong and it lands right by the cutout or right near the cutout. Now, it works fine. It's not that bad. I don't want to complain about it too much and then you guys get it and be like, there's nothing wrong with this clip. But to me, it's a little bit tight on the way out. It's not horrible. It's not bad. Like, I would give it if it was a grading system, I'd give it a C minus. Yeah, C minus. So not horrible. I mean, I was a C student. Shit. I was lucky to get a C. But it's S90V. Now that's the question. How's that S90V? That we'll find out. I have no idea yet. I will find out soon. I've used it a little bit. I did break down some cardboard with it because I wanted to see how that thicker grind cut. It did pretty good, but we'll see after sharpening it because I don't want to base its edge retention on its factory edge. That'd be dumb. So I'm going to base it off of after I sharpen it once or twice. Thing sucks though is I'm going to end up creating a smile, so I'm probably going to have to cut in a choil. But awesome knife though. So hardware. Me and Talik were talking about hardware earlier, and I figured I'd talk about it a little bit since we have all these little subjects we're talking about. And titanium hardware. Now, titanium hardware, it can be great. It just depends. So, like, I got so many knives with titanium hardware that's amazing. However, if you get titanium hardware and it's not hardened, you don't want titanium hardware. You would way rather have steel hardware than soft titanium hardware. I can't even think of a time I didn't strip out, even when it doesn't even have thread locker on it, and it will strip. They're so soft. It's like having aluminum hardware. That'd be dumb, right? So it has to be hardened. Like we does a great job with their titanium hardware. Obviously, some of the USA companies do a great job with it, but we does an incredible job with it. But like Tuya's titanium hardware is not good. It's not great, guys. I've shipped out probably 3 or 4 sets, and I've had to have new sets sent to me. I never really spoke about it, but I did. You could say it was my fault, whatever, but it's because it was soft. That's what I say. I think their hardware looks great. The bits fit in them really well. They fit nicely, but it's just it strips out so easily. I did not see that 2%. Probably a week or 2 weeks. It's on the ocean now, on its way to dealers. So as long as it takes to get here from overseas, because it's on the way. So Riat does a good job with the titanium hardware, but they harden it. That's the thing. They harden it just like we harden it too. That's why their hardware is really good. Spirit says, yeah, I was hoping it would be JN was a very let down. However, Rich Light is a kick-ass modern paper micarta material, tough stuff, and awesome finishes. Yeah, I never even seen that stuff before you showed me. Any button issues with the Cormorant? Not that I know of. Super solid. I'll give it that, man. No play, any direction. One problem, and I'll just say this right now. I was going to wait for the review. If you're a lefty, you have the ability to touch it because it's not hidden. It's not like it has a little cutout, but for the most part, it pokes up. So when it's open, see how much it pops up? It pops up so much. So when you go to like Spidey flick it, your finger hits it. Now, I've gotten used to it, and you can too. And what I do is I go like this. I put my finger over the top and I push it right there. Instead of going like this, I put it over it and I just touch it like that. That's how I do it when I'm lefty. And if I do put my finger on it, I make sure I'm using very light pressure, because you do have the ability to slow it down, because when you're touching the button and you go to push it out, it's not letting the detent be as strong. So the detent's really light. So that's the problem if you're a lefty. But you can get past it. Don't like think like, oh, I can't get it now. But you'll just have to adjust your finger over that button. So, but no, other than that though, the button's been fine. I love that. Put another knife on the bobby. Damn it. I'm trying to read this comment. Mangana says, after working with China for the last 10 years, manufacturing a number of things from drones to knives, I do not trust Chinese sources titanium hardware. It's very rare to see it hardened. That's why, like I always say, with any of the overseas company, if you're going to deal with one, you want it to be a reputable one, right? You want it to be reputable. And if they're reputable, then they're good. They're nice to deal with. Like React, we know those are reputable companies. But yeah, it's hard to speak for the other ones. So yeah, I agree with you. Jared, what were the two? Oh, this is. Did I put them away? Oh, so it's the Moss. I'll just show it to you. The Mossback. Focus. Mossback. And then the bird and trout. So it's the Mossback and the bird and trout. This is the little bird and trout. They're both Mossbacks, so this is a Mossback too, but this one's the bird and trout. And then the other one's just the Mossback. I found some with links because they're very affordable. Like 30 something dollars or something like that. He took us for thousands and ran off when we called him out. What are you talking? We'll skip that one. Okay, so I want to talk about, we have 119 people in here. I wanted to talk about having the tools to maintain your tools. Having the tools to maintain your knives. So we got 2 mods, am I right? Well, you're in here, so we're pretty good. Yeah, don't forget to drop a like, ladies and gentlemen, if you do like the content. If not, give me a dislike. I'll take those. Let's see how many we got. 81, no dislikes. Holy cow. Disliker must be on vacation. Wonder what happened to him. He's MIA. I don't think I've ever done a live without him showing up. Anyways, having the tools to maintain your tools. So I know a lot of people, because when we start talking about WeHa bits and some of the drivers, it can get expensive. It can. And if you're struggling to afford a quality knife already, buying the bits, the drivers, strops, compounds, stones, and oil, pivot lube, all these things, it winds up adding up to a lot. You don't have to buy everything at once. You can buy things one at a time, and you can do it on a budget. So what I used to do for my pivot tools was, if you go to like Ace Hardware, Home Depot, something like that, you can get little the phone kits, the kits for working on your cell phones. They come with T6 and T8s normally. They'll have a driver, T6s, T8s, and they'll have the bit sizes that you need to work on your knives. for like $5. Also, there's the Husky driver. The Husky driver, got one right here actually. These are like $7-8, and they have a lifetime warranty. So if you break one of these bits, you just take it back in, and they'll give you a whole brand new one. Just save your receipt.
Don't you eat it? That's the only one.
I can't eat it.
If you want to take a picture of it, you can't. But if you want to, it's horrible.
I thought you took a picture.
No.
Check out that knife. I want to hold it like a knife for these guys.
Look how bad it is.
It's badass, baby.
That fucking icing was so difficult to work with.
All right. Oh, hell yeah.
You can eat that one if you want.
Check that out, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, hells yeah. Why'd you pick blue icing instead of green?
I didn't know I was gonna make knife shit.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a clue.
You didn't know?
No, I just wanted to make cookies, and I was like, I want to make a knife.
I don't want to eat on the microphone. Did you bring me a napkin?
No, I didn't think you were gonna eat it.
I shouldn't be. I'm gonna take one more bite because I don't want to do this on the microphone. Can you put this away for me?
Yeah.
Big bite.
Bye.
Thanks, babe. Hey, Ruben said hi, and so did my mom.
Hello. Hello.
I didn't forget Ruben. Okay. Sorry, guys. I hate doing that on the microphone. Okay. So, these little Husky drivers, though, these things are awesome. They come with the T6 to T10. Or no, T5 to T10, I think. They're double-sided. $7. They work really good. You can get multiples of them. I have these laying around everywhere because they're cheap. And like I said, you can replace them. If they break, you just take it in and they'll switch it out and they'll give you a brand new one. So I have these just laying everywhere. So like by my bed, like say if a pivot comes loose by my bed, I can adjust it. Got them sitting right here. Probably got 10 of those. I used to give them away in giveaways. So there's tools you can get if you're on a budget, especially on a tight budget. Now, I will agree though, you're going to strip them out. It is better to just buy the wee habits. They will last a lot longer. Everything will just be better when you just spend a few extra bucks. But if you can't, if you don't have it, I understand. You can do it on a budget, but you do save money by just spending money. Now, edge maintenance tools. Now, we talk about honing your edge, right? Honing your edges with ceramic rods. You could technically get by with a coffee cup. You really could. All you're doing is tuning your edge. So you're very lightly, like if I'm going to take this knife, and I don't have a rod sitting here. Let's take the spine of this knife. You're just taking and doing an extremely light, no pressure at all. And that's all you're doing. It's very gentle, right? So you can do that on the back of a coffee cup. Yes, it'd be better if you just got a ceramic rod. But if you do have like $20, a ceramic rod will do so much for you. Like say if your flipper tab is sharp, you can knock it down with that ceramic rod. Even like if you have like one of the little ceramic stones, you can use that for detent holes sometimes. And that's another topic I wanted to talk about, strong detents. When you get a knife, and if your detent is like, it's like, wow, this thing is so strong and it doesn't seem right. Like it literally seems like something's wrong. How is this thing so strong? Because you can tell the lock bar doesn't feel that strong. Take it apart. Most likely you have a burr around your detent hole. Where your detent ball falls into the hole, most likely there's a burr around it. You just take a little ceramic stone or something ceramic and just go right around the hole. Just like you're cleaning it out. And it'll knock that burr right off and your detent will be really good. So keep that in mind for the people that wind up running into that issue. But you can also get those little ceramic stones for like $12 from Lansky. Those will work good for honing too. You can also get like a ruby stone for like $5. literally a pretty good sized ruby stone for like $5. Those will work good too, as like a replacement for a ceramic stone, because they're like 3,000 grit. They work really good. We just talking about. Okay. OCD. Oh, I got a ton of Tucson's coming this month because I bought some directly from Tucson. So next thing, keeping your knives in a good place, you know, dry, basically, right, is obviously very important. Keeping them dry, keeping them out of the air, I guess, especially if you're in a place like Lefty EDC. For some reason, Lefty EDC is in like the whole of the universe that attracts rust. So if you're in any place like that, keep it in a pouch with a couple of the do not eat packets, the packets that Bees Blades always eats. Keep it with those, right? Don't eat those. Keep your knives with those. So the do not eat packets, keep those around, throw them in drawers, throw it in the pouch, keep it in the pouch. But you are going to need to get oil, right? So some sort of oil. Yes, you could use cooking oil. You can use any kind of oil. So that will get you by just fine. You don't have to go out and buy EDCI and all these other shits. You can oil your knives with whatever. You just oil it, let it sit for 5 minutes, wipe it dry. That oil will penetrate the steel in the little pockets that are microscopic and stop it from no, you're not supposed to, Bees. Not supposed to. But it penetrates the steel and it'll stop your steel from rusting. You got to do that. Got to do that. That's a must. Now, if you have $5, $5, you can get the 3-in-1. That's my favorite stuff. I don't even use EDCI. I use 3-in-1. 3-in-1 is like $5 and it'll last you like 5 years, literally. You only need a drip, a dab will do you. So it's 3-in-1. It means cleans, penetrates, and prevents. So it cleans rust, penetrates the steel to prevent rust, and then prevents rust. Really good shit. But that's what I would get. Ruben says I always save those packets for M40. I save them. I throw them in drawers. I got them everywhere. I even have a little can for when I run into new ones and I want to save them. I get a can that I throw them in because I have too many of them. I got big ones. I got small ones. I got the baby ones. I got them everywhere. I always save those packets. Because even like when you're mailing knives, if you're going to mail knives, it's good to put them in a pouch and put one of those packets in there. Lefty rusty knives with ass sweat. Yeah, but I'm convinced that even his environment, right? Like, I don't know what it is, if he needs a dehumidifier, and if he needs one that bad, I mean, we can go start like a GoFundMe or something, get his ass some dehumidifiers in that house, something. I mean, I don't care, I'll clean my knives when they get back, but I know he's had some problems with the rust. But yeah, the mass juices will get you. Mineral oil, yeah, mineral oil works great. That's perfect. And that's what I mean. There's ways you can improvise. If you're wanting to do EDC on a budget, there's a million ways to do it on a budget, and you can still enjoy yourself and have a great time. I get lots of comments where people talk like they don't have the money to do this stuff, right? They buy one knife every few months, something like that. You could do that and get up a good collection after a year, right? A good, nice collection. And then you can take those knives. The problem is if you only have 2 knives, you're not going to be able to sell them and recycle them. If you have 20 knives, you can sell and recycle. Recycling meaning trade, sell, buy new, so that you're not spending money out of your pocket. You can take this knife and sell it to this person, then take the money and go buy a knife from this person, or swap straight up. Right? But if you're using the shit out of one knife, you can't do that because nobody's going to want a knife that's all fecked out. They're going to want a knife that might be sharpened once or twice, but is still in good condition. But this is the next thing I'm going to say. We don't have to worry about. Got to stop worrying about using our shit. Blades and Fades. What's up, bud? Go check out Blades and Fades. He's got a YouTube channel. You guys will love it. Go and check out his channel and give him a follow. We don't have to worry about using our shit. So many people worry about using your shit. And I'm going to tell you why you don't have to worry about it. And I'm sure you guys already know this, but for those of you that have not realized this yet, everything's fixable. Everything. There isn't one thing on these things that's not fixable. You scratch your blade, get it stone washed. Get it etched and stone washed. Say you like the satin finish that's on it. Get a new satin finish. There's somebody out there, knife modders, that can give you a good satin finish, right? Or BGM knives. There's companies out there, guys out there that will give you regrinds or even just give you a finish on it or stone wash and etch it. Titanium, you got scratches on it, get a new bead blast. There's people out there with blasting machines and sand blasting machines and bead blasting machines that can do that. Anodizing, you can get it re-anodized. You can get all that shit done. Your edge goes dull. You can send it to me. I can resharpen it for you. Oh, you sharpened up too much of the edge. Now your choil's fucked. I can put a new choil in it for you. So we don't have to worry about using these damn things that are even the expensive ones. They can all be fixed back to brand new. Back to brand new, basically. Everything aside from, sharpening it so much that there's no more knife left. But in that case, you got your money out of it, right? Because you can always get a regrind and get it thinner, and then now you're back at basically the same place you started. Because if you do remove so much steel, yeah, it's going to be a little thick behind the edge, so you just get a regrind. But especially with knives with good geometry, man, don't shy away from using those knives, because those are the ones that are made to use. There you go. Put some wax on there. On the Damascus for long-term storage. Good idea. Great idea. I didn't stab him. I stabbed his girlfriend. Let's not talk about it. Recurves rule. Let's talk about some recurves really quick. Yes, recurves are awesome. Now, the problem that I think some people have is when they recurve knives like this. All right. You're not getting a lot of benefits out of this. It does have a small recurve. Now, when the recurve doesn't benefit you and all it does is hinder you because you're going to need smaller stones to sharpen it, and it's going to be, I don't find it difficult to sharpen, but, I understand it's more difficult. I get that too. Even though I have no problem sharpening a recurve blade, yeah, it's a little more difficult than if it was a plain edge. So the difficulties don't outweigh the benefits. That's how a recurve is supposed to be. The benefits should outweigh the downfall. So if you have a knife that is a good knife and has a good recurve, and then you can actually get the benefits out of it, it snags the materials. When you're dragging it through the materials, it hooks into the material so you can get longer cuts. Or when you're pulling cords or ropes or whatever and you're cutting them, it actually hooks the rope and snags it into the belly and pops it. That's great, because when you're doing that job over and over and over and over, you want the best tool for the job. But when you're just getting one of these little baby recurves that it's not doing anything, like it doesn't create any benefits, but it still is enough to where you have to use special stones to sharpen, that's where it winds up getting shitty. It's like, why didn't you just make it straight? Why did you put a recurve in that? Like, make that make sense. Jim says, J Unit, few questions. First, knife ever. My first knife ever was a giant. It was either a buck or a charade, but it was one of those big folders that's similar to the buck 110. First knife you bought with your own money. I don't remember. I was collecting knives really young, so I don't know, something from a store, probably maybe even something from like a hardware store, like up at the register. I used to buy knives like at the hardware stores and shit, or from like Kmart or Walmart. First knife you bought with your own money. What knife did you have to save? Waited for ages. What knife did you have to save / waited for ages? I don't get that question. What knife did you have to save / waited? I don't know what that means. Explain that last number 3. If you're talking about the story, we're going to do that for story time. Seems logical. It's definitely in the Recurve gang. Murky Ocean TS223 all over DH The Star Store has it, I think. I can link it. But yeah, I can get it from Amazon and link it. DH I don't know. I don't get links from them. A lot of people don't like to mess with DH Gate because they have so many clones and knockoffs and shit. People are worried about them. So I don't really mess with them too much. But I do know they have some Tucsons on there for extremely cheap money, and we're gonna find out soon if that's legit or not, because I don't know. I think he meant what knife have you had to wait the longest to save the most money for? Oh. Well, the one I've saved, like waited the longest for, I don't know, but I've never really spent that much money. Like, you guys got to understand, the amazing knives I have came from an amazing person that gifted them to me, Mr. Amazing. Now I've spent a couple $100 on knives, $200-300. Most recently, $375. But most of them were like gifts, like Kara got me the 2 NV2, and the Waypoint, which was kind of a mixing between her and Mr. Amazing, but she did get me one too. I just swapped them out. So I don't know I don't know. It's hard for me to even say, because I'm very blessed having the channel, but a few months saving up just to get one, I guess that'd be like the longest, because you can do layaways. You don't, like, that's the thing. Like, when we got the some of the knives, we did it on layaway, where you do it in 4 quarters, so you don't spend it all at once. You spend, like, say if it's a $300 knife, you spend like $75 at a time, and then finish it off the last time or something. Save up and wait for ages before being able to buy. Sorry, made 3 a.m. and autocorrect. The last 2 questions. What is your most sentimental knife, and what knife would you keep if you could only have one? Somebody ban him. Somebody get him out of here. You can't ask questions like that to me on live, because I can't answer those questions. My most sentimental knife, to be honest, my most sentimental knife is gone. I'll never see it again. It's gone off the face of this earth. It was stolen, and there's nothing I can do about it. But other than those knives, the most sentimental knife I have now, gift knives from Kara, the 2 NV2. She got me that. She got me the 2 NV1. So something like that, because I'm very sentimental. And then the knives from Mr. Amazing, those are very sentimental to me. I have other friends that have gifted me knives, so those are very sentimental to me. By default, my most, is probably going to be one that Kara got me, because that's by default. She's my wife. But last knife or only knife, I can't do that, man. Don't ask me shit like that, because I'll sit here for a fucking hour trying to figure out what kind of situation am I going to get into. Is the apocalypse happening tomorrow? Is it a work knife? Can it be a fixed blade? Like, too many questions, too many variables, man. Too many variables. You got to give me a situation. It's difficult for me to pick one knife forever. Like, if I was really just going to give like a recommendation to somebody, like, hey, if you want one knife to do everything really good, I would like Spyderco Mannix or something. That's a great knife. You can get them in any steel, so you have a great steel choice. You can get upgrades. You can modify it. You can change it. It's slicey and tough at the same time. So if you could only keep 50 knives, now that's what I'm talking about. So now that's a good question. See, that's a fucking good question right there. Bees Blades, he knows how to ask questions. He gets to stay. Damn good question. Because I have about 50 on the list. Right. Right. And that's actually the problem. Because you start picking one, like you'll be like, oh, I guess the Shiro Goroff. And then behind you, it's like the Spartan's like, what about me? What about me? And then you're like, oh yeah. And then you get them both and you're like looking at them like, I like this one because it's so fall shutty. But I like this one because it's super tough. And it's USA made. I have to admit though, if I'm gonna pick one knife for everything, it's gonna be USA made. Somehow, some way. There's a lot of USA made knives I do want, but can't have. So if you put me on like that type of book, right, where I get to pick like any knife and I don't have to own it, I'll start mentioning, some of the knives that I would love to have. But when we're talking about my own knives, it would definitely be one of my USA made knives. I'd have to go, that route. Who makes the best needle bearings? Shiro Goroff. Real Steel makes some good ones. Rake has some too, but I wouldn't say they're the best. But Real Steel and Shiro Goroff. Do you have any folders for whittling? All of them. I'll whittle with any one of my folders. Pretty much. Yeah, I mean, some are going to be better than others. K Mason. Thank you for the donation. 22K coming for your metal complex. Yes, I am. But I hate to say it, we are slowing down massively. We went from 5.5K a month down to 4.5K, and I'm guessing tomorrow it'll be down to 4.4, then 4.3. We're on the decline, ladies and gentlemen. We're back on the decline, but I just got to get one of them damn videos out there, right? I just got to get one of them hitters out there. So I'm going to need you guys, when you guys see that hitter, you guys will know it. When you guys see it, make sure you push the button, because if you push the button, more people will push the button, because the only way other people will sub to this channel and see the video is if you guys see it first and click on it. That's literally the way I get in front of other people. I get in front of people that don't normally watch my channel by you guys clicking on it and watching it. When my watch time goes up and my likes go up, they say, okay, this is a good video. His followers like this video. Let's show it to people that don't normally watch his channel. And then I get followers. But, and that's on me. That's on me to create that content that is so good, that has such a good thumbnail that you guys click on it. That's on me to make such good content that you guys stay and keep watching and stay intrigued. So completely on me. Like I said, man, this one's really good. I like this as a grandpa knife. I really do. This little guy is so badass, the Civivi bow. The next one would probably be like the Civivi Elementum. Love this as a grandpa knife. And then, like we were saying earlier, but that one might be too thin, to be honest. I always forget the damn name of it. The Drifter 2. I think that might be a little too thin for whittling. Oh, you know what? I actually got it right here. My new favorite whittling knife, because the homie Cue Ball gifted it to me, and it's got the best walk and talk ever. Listen to this. That's some good walk and talk. This is an awesome little whittling knife. And the reason why it's great for whittling, it's actually thin behind the edge, but robust. Does that make sense? The spine is robust, but the edge is super thin right behind the edge. So this has a lot of edge stability. And it is M390 too, so I'm gonna get great edge retention out of it. Not necessarily edge stability, because M390, it's not the toughest steel, but it'll work good for my whittling, because wood is soft. Wood isn't really that bad for your edge. When we start talking about certain wood, yes, certain wood is going to be horrifying for edges because it's so dense and so hard. Most wood is very gentle on edges. Yeah, it's a slip joint. Oh, you're saying pick one that's not a slip joint, because this is a slippy. But so bang, right there. The Tucson TS, I forget the number. Awesome knife. But if I was gonna pick a folder though, yeah, like I said, probably the bow or the Elementum, or no, I don't know. I'm not gonna pick that. Never mind. Breeze had to get a bigger garage. Yep, I went with a rifle mat. B&F. Blades and fades. I wear pants that carry 4 knives before we get into filling pockets. Bang. Someone's not playing around. All right. Sharpening supplies. So we didn't go through all the budget things for people that are on a tight budget for sharpening supplies. So this one, I think is going to be pretty simple and common sense. You can get very cheap stones on Amazon, like very, very cheap. Aluminum oxide. Yes, they are cheap stones. However, they will sharpen your knife. They will absolutely sharpen your knife. You will absolutely be able to sharpen your knife. The more expensive, yes, the quality goes up on stones, the more effective they are, but you can absolutely sharpen your knife on the cheap stones. I would highly recommend using aluminum oxide for your cheap stone, though. Don't go with some of these water stones and shit. Go with an oil stone. It's way better. You can use soap and water, but don't go with some of these water stones, because most of them are only good for kitchen knives. They're not good for super steels or the steels we have in our folders. So go with a aluminum oxide stone, or you can also get a cheap diamond plate. Like, you can buy those cheap little thin plates. You really can. I used to go and buy like work sharp little diamond plates. They're only like this thin, but they go to the system, but I didn't have the system. I used to buy those and hold them in my hand and sharpen like this. These little tiny, thin, little skinny plates, but they worked. Is it story time? Oh shit, we are past story time. Okay. So, I get a couple short ones. So, this one I told before, but somebody asked me to tell it again, and I know a lot of people are freshly joining, so some people haven't heard some of the stories I told in the past. But somebody asked me, because I talked about needing a knife to save my life one time on the job. Yeah, Matt. And if you want a fixed angled system, the Work Sharp Field Sharpener is a fantastic system, or the Precision Guided System if you can't if you want an actual system. But the Field Sharpener, though, you have an angle set up for you and everything. So that is a fantastic buy. I recommend that to everybody. Even if you already have all your sharpening system supplies, get that too. That's a great addition to anybody. You can sharpen on the road or on the job, or even in between sharpenings, right, with that thing. That thing's great. The Field Sharpener is amazing. That's why I always link it in all my videos, at least 99% of them. Okay. Look at Q and Fan marketing the revenue streams. I know what I need to do is I need to hook him up with my link code so that he can start dropping the links in here from my affiliate, because then I can make money off you motherfuckers. So what juice do you vape? Just menthol. They used to have mint, but they discontinued them because they were saying they were for kids. This is the dumbest argument I ever heard of in my life. But fucking betas. Anyways, story time. So I was on the job site, and I don't know. I think it was like maybe a year prior to this, a year or two prior to this, a tornado had came through southern Wisconsin, and I got hired by a campground to come, and because the trees were just all over the place. They're dangerous trees. Some of them were broken. Some of them were on top of the trailers and things. And it was just a campsite was just obliterated, right? So I got hired to come cut these trees down and get them out of there, right? So I did that for like a year. So I was pretty good at cutting trees. Like I got really good at it. And I had the harnesses and everything, was all hooked up. Actually, at first we didn't even have none of that stuff. We were winging it, like completely winging it. But later on, though, after done with that job, I was picking up other jobs from the tornado, and then just shit happens, right? Lightning, stuff like that, or just people want a tree removed out of their yard. Well, I was on this job, and this tree was like in a backyard basically, and there was some sort of line, like I think it was like a phone line or something like that kind of went through the backyard. But besides that, there was stuff like in the yard, so we didn't want to hit certain things at the branch. The tree was pretty big too. And we weren't cutting down the entire tree. We were cutting down some of the big branches. It was probably getting in their gutters and stuff. Anyways, so I'm up in this tree, but I'm not being as safe as I should. I'm totally not being as safe as I should. And that's 100% on me. And I just from being so used to cutting down trees for so long, like you just get stupid, comfortable, I guess, right? Anyway, so I have the branch roped off. So the branch is roped off, and the plan is because I need to pull it towards me. That's another thing. So normally you have the rope tied to the branch, the person on the ground will pull it towards you. But for whatever reason, I had the rope. Right. So the plan was to like cut it down like so much. And when it starts to crack, I can pull it. Anyways, so I'm up in the tree, and the rope is like, I don't know exactly how it was, but however it was, whether it was behind me, it must have been behind me and kind of wrapped this way. And like, I was like ready to like grab it like this and then pull it like that or something. I don't know. But what happened was in the process of cutting it, before it was time, right? It shouldn't have broke yet, but the weight of the branch or whatever winds up breaking before it should have. So unexpectedly, right? So it breaks unexpectedly, and it's hooked to the rope. So the rope snags, the rope goes around my waist, and now is ripping me out of this tree. And I luckily had my knife on me. So when it started going, I grabbed the rope, trying to like fight it, brace yourself in the tree, whatever. And it snags me, and it's like going around me, like just like it's ready to rip me out of the tree. And I was able to get my knife out and grab the rope and cut it before it ripped me out of the tree. And the branch winds up hitting the yard or whatever, going down to the ground. But it would have fucked me up. Like I probably wouldn't have died, but it definitely would have fucked me up. Like I who knows how it would have went. Like I've taken some pretty good falls. So I have no doubt I can't take a good fall, but that was a pretty good fall. That would have messed me up pretty bad, especially since the pulling from the rope, who knows, because I can't remember exactly right now if the rope went between a branch or not, or if it just went to the branch. Like it might have went between the crack of two branches onto the branch. I can't remember. But if that was the case, it would have snagged me through the branches. Think about that. It would have snagged me into the crotch of the tree and tried to smash me through it. And since I was braced, you know, in the tree kind of hanging on, I had a little bit of resistance. But once that resistance breaks, right? Once it overpowers me, it's pulling me through whatever. So thank God I had the knife on me. Thank God I cut the rope. It was, you know, everything wound up being fine. But, you know, I like because of that, I think about that sometimes, like when I think about not having a knife on me. When I think about just having a knife, because I didn't think that was going to happen, right? Like, it's kind of like, obviously, you know, like, oh, well, if you're doing stuff like that, obviously, you're running into situations where you might need to save your life. But I wasn't thinking that before that. Like that never crossed my mind that that was going to happen that day. And I've had dumb things like that happen to me so many times, unexpected, like just weird things. So, but because of that time, it always makes me think of like what could happen that I might need my knife to, like, and I think about, you know, like car accidents, right? Car accidents, cutting the seatbelt, right? Or whatever. Who knows? Something like, or somebody else cutting somebody else out, or maybe their clothes, who knows? Like, there's so many fucking things, but I think about that because of that situation and things like that. Now another time, this has nothing to do with saving my life or anything, but I was up, this happened like so many times, so like I have a million of these stories, but this one I remember just like pretty good because it really wasn't that long ago. But I'm up on this ladder and I'm replacing the drip edge underneath. So, like on a gable is, you know, the peak of a house like this, right? And on the flats, right? Under the shingles, there's something called drip edge, right? And drip edge is just a piece of aluminum that's folded into an L shape and it's a long strip. It's an L shape that's a long strip, and you tuck it underneath the shingles. So when rain is coming down, it comes off of the shingles, and then instead of it going back into your house, it hits that aluminum and drips down into your gutter or off of your roof, right? So I'm replacing that around a house. And this is an old house, like a really old house. And it had probably 5 or 6 layers of shingles on it from years of it being covered. Instead of them stripping it, they just covered it. And you're supposed to, I think, only do like 3 times. So a roof should always be replaced like every 3 shinglings, right? And a lot of people, they'll just do it every time, just strip it clean and replace the shingles. But you know, you can cover 1 or 2 layers of shingles. Anyways, this house is so old, it's got so many layers of shingles. Well, so when I'm replacing this shit, I'm having to stuff it underneath the shingles. Well, they would nail, because there's so many years and layers of shingles, that they nailed all the way to the edge. You're not supposed to nail all the way to the edge because you're supposed to be able to slip the drip edge underneath the shingles. But they did. They had it literally nailed, tacked, fucking stapled all the way up and down the edge of the shingles. So I'm up on this ladder and I'm having to hang this stuff, but I'm by myself. And I'm on a ladder, you know, swinging on a ladder with this damn piece of drip edge, trying to not only slip it in, but not bend it. It's very fragile. It's a very fragile piece, and they're long. They're like 12 foot long. And I'm trying to slip it in. And every time I go to slip it underneath the shingles, I'm hitting a nail or a staple. So I'm up there and I'm getting tired. Like my arms are getting tired from holding myself up, or not holding myself up, holding the thing up. And I keep running into these things, and I run into this one situation where I cannot get this thing out. Like, it's I think it was a nail, but just the way it was, like my pry bar wasn't working, nothing was working. And I can't remember. I don't think I had my mini pry bar. I think that was the problem. I think I only had my big pry bar, and I, for whatever reason, I couldn't get it. But guess what did get it? The old Ganzo the one that looks like a Benchmade 940. I had that knife on me. I remember it like it was yesterday. Popped that bitch out, and it got right in there because it was nice and slim, right where I needed it, and it pried that nail right up, got it out of there. And I know that doesn't seem crazy, right? But when you are beat up, you got bees flying around, you're dripping, sweat's just burning your eyes, your arms can't hold up no more, like they're ready to collapse, and you have these pieces that cost money, right? They're, so you're up on a ladder and you have your tool belt weighing your fucking hips down and you're balancing on a ladder and all this shit. It winds up becoming like this saved me type of moment. Like I have my drip edge in most of the way. I need to slip it in this last little part. And I can't nail it until it slips in. And this one little fucking nail is stopping me from slipping this thing in. And the Ganzo saved the day. So I was really happy about that day. And I do remember it like it was yesterday because this house is so old. And, like I've worked on so many old houses where it's like anything can happen because it's like when you start working on them, it's like opening up a can of worms, like literally. It's like one thing just leads to another. It's like, holy shit. I remember when I bought my house, when I had my house and I was redoing it, that thing was so messed up. Like it was bad. I turned on my air conditioner and my lights would turn on. That's how, like, the wiring was so messed up. There must have been wiring touching each other in the walls, but it was just crazy. Like to turn on your air and your lights turn on, turn off your air, your lights turn off. Like I had to rewire everything and same thing. It was like opening up a can of worms. Like you were like, oh, I just need to get to this one piece and fix this electrical. You tear it down, you find 20 things you have to do. So it's like every single thing leads to 100 things you got to fix. I was looking for a low grit stone. For what? A low grit stone for what? If you're looking for a low grit stone, I would recommend the Atoma 140. That's a very low grit. I was looking for a low grit stone. For what system? They even got the dude he shot to admit it was self-defense. What are you guys talking about? Okay, so one more story really quick because I never really talked. I don't think I ever talked about it too much. So, what's the first time? So, a time my knives got stolen. What happened was, so I had a nice collection, me and my dad. We had a pretty nice collection going. And some of these knives they meant a lot to me. Like they're passed down to me from my dad. We had saved them since I was a little kid. We had like bought like 2 or 3 knives here and there, 4 or 5 knives here and there. Wound up having like, I don't know, probably at this point, like 40, 50 knives. But to me, when I was younger, that was a big collection. And some of them were expensive knives, like really nice hunting knives. The overwhelming majority were fixed blades, but they were, I hunted and me and my dad loved hunting. So they were really special. And one of them was even a gift from my uncle and was like a Native American knife. It had the handle was a wolf bone from the leg of a wolf, and it had like wolf's teeth hanging from it, and it was 100% handmade. My uncle got it for me. It even had a pearl in it, a real pearl inside the bone of the handle. So the handle was a bone, and like inside the crook of the knuckle of the bone, there was a pearl in there. The part that protects your hand was a piece of an antler, and it was some sort of carbon steel. And the sheath was rabbit's fur, and it was really special to me. But that also, so anyway, so my dad got paralyzed, and when he got paralyzed, the people across the street, their place burnt down, and so this was twice this happened. Where our collection got stolen. The first time is a different story, but this time it was somebody I knew. But anyway, so the people across the street, their apartment burnt down, and they didn't have no place to go. And my dad, since he's paralyzed now, he's in the hospital, and he can't get back in that place because it's upstairs, so he can't possibly get in there no more. So and I was going to be taking care of him. There was no reason that I'm staying there. I'm taking care of him. So I'm staying at the new place my dad's staying at. Right. And while we're staying there, since their place burnt down, my dad being a cool guy said, he opened up the doors to them. So yeah, you can stay in my apartment building, because my dad continued to pay rent on it or whatever, right? But all our stuff is still there. So this guy and his son, right, moved in there, and it was a lot more than just knives that got stolen. A lot of stuff got stolen, but in the end, when they wound up like basically getting kicked out, my dad told me, he's like, go over there and look around and make sure things aren't fucked up. Right. So I go there. I had a 24 karat Michael Jordan basketball card collection. It was like 5 cards, and they were solid gold, like they were badass. I can't imagine how much they'd be worth today, but those got stolen. I had a bit badass like basketball card collection, all kinds of shit, like all my special cards. But anyways, this knife collection is what I worried about. That's all I cared about. That wound up stolen. So and I knew it wasn't the guy. I knew it was his son. So I went looking for him, and he knew like that I was going to be looking for him. So I wound up he was like avoiding me, and this was going on for a few weeks. He was avoiding me. Then I finally ran into him. I seen him, and I instantly was like, "Hey." All right, and he seen me, and he turned around and ran. He started running. So I fucking started chasing him. And now we're getting towards it was like down a hill, and then we were getting towards like some woods, all right, a wooded area. And I grabbed him up and fucking slapped him around, whatever, choked the shit out of him, blah blah blah. And and I'm like, where's my shit, basically. And he starts telling me like they're like basically like he tries lying to me at first. He's like trying to lie to me, and I'm not taking it. Like I won't even listen to him. I'm just every time he goes to lie to me, I'm just slapping him again. And then he winds up telling me that he'll show me, right? Like basically like he'll show me where they're at or whatever, right? And I'm like, fuck yeah, you're gonna show me where they're at. Of course you're gonna show me where they're at. Well, she takes me on this little walk, and it was actually like in that area, kind of, right? Where we were. And back, and like, so I think what happened was he was trying to get rid of them because he didn't want me to catch them with them. So he was trying to hide them. That's what I got from it. So we go for a little walk, and inside like this lockbox is a few of the knives, like 2 or 3 of the knives, destroyed. They're destroyed, just mangled to shit. I'm so furious, like. But there was a couple that was like, I was kind of excited not to see them in there, because it's like they're not in here, they're not destroyed. In my mind, that's all my mind went to. Like, thank God these ones aren't in here and not destroyed. And but it didn't make a difference. I never seen those ones again, and those ones were the most important. But the ones I did get back, I got them back, but they were mangled. Like there was no fixing them. There was no nothing. They were broken and like basically in pieces. Like it looked like he had like, I don't know, pried rocks with them or something. I don't know. But I was so furious after seeing them, like, and because I knew he couldn't fathom what they meant to me, right? I knew he couldn't fathom. He couldn't even understand it. So, I slapped him around a little bit more and was trying to get him to show me where the other ones were. But I think he like gave them away to somebody, or like something, like he had friends with him or something. I think they took them, and I tried to get to them people, right? But I didn't know who the hell they were. And long story short, I never got those ones back. But the other ones that originally got stolen was just from some random dude that broke into our apartment. Never, he got caught, not caught. My neighbor walked in while he was robbing us, and he hid behind the door. And my neighbor walked in like to grab like a soda or something, because we were like just like the open door kind of, and to each other. And when he walked in, he noticed there was a shotgun taken apart like on the couch, and he was like looking, and like it looked weird. Then all of a sudden he heard behind him the door open up, because the dude hid behind the door while the door opened up, and he hid there. I'm guessing he was about to walk out because he had like bags of stuff. And like I said, he had like the shotgun taken apart, like ready to stuff in a bag. Like he had all kinds of stuff, you know, ready to like basically pillow stuff and walk out. And when the door opened up, he just hid behind it. I'm guessing it happened like that quick. And dude that seen him had just gotten messed up, like in a bad accident, so he wasn't able to chase him or nothing. If he wasn't messed up, he would have messed him up, like for sure. But dude took off running, and there wasn't no catching that dude, especially the guy who caught him or seen him, because like I said, he was just in a motorcycle accident and his head was cracked open and all kinds of shit. But yeah, it was pretty suck. How about the cards? No, I didn't get none of the other stuff back. To be honest, the that stuff was actually down in the garage, so it was kind of hard to I know, you know, like who took them and stuff like that, but it's hard to and to be honest, I actually don't know 100% because they were separated. Those weren't in the apartment. They were actually down in the storage. So I couldn't, you know, it wasn't like you could really prove like whether or not the dad did it, the son did it, somebody else did it, because, you know, my dad did let other people in there sometimes. So I'm pretty sure the dad did it. And I'm not going to say the name or nothing, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. The dad did it and just pawned them or something, you know. Addiction's a motherfucker. That's what I'm guessing. But it's hard to say. And I didn't even find out about those for a while. Because when I went and checked the place, I checked the apartment. I didn't even check the storage. So like it wasn't a while till I found out those things were missing. Yeah, shit happens. Shit happens. But yeah, it is. It definitely is. I know I fucking after that I wound up saving up a collection again and got to a lot of knives, and I wound up having to sell them basically to survive. And a lot of it was, excuse me, from addiction, because of stupid shit. This is the 197, by the way, the TS197 Wong design. Awesome knife, by the way. And this thing's pretty cheap too. I forget what it goes for, but it's not a lot of money for M390 and bone titanium liners. This thing is solid. But yeah, I wound up screwing myself over in the end because I wound up having, like, those knives didn't mean as much to me as the other ones, you know what I mean? So when it killed me to have to sell my knives, but I didn't have no place to bring them. I didn't, nothing, like I was like hanging on by a thread, and there wasn't, like, I was trying to survive, let alone tote around a collection of knives. So like slowly but surely, you know, I was selling a few here, selling a few there, you know, for addiction, for food, for this, for that, whatever, you know, to get money eventually till I didn't have any more. And it killed me inside to do that, because some of them did mean a lot to me, not like the other ones, but still though, you know, still. And yeah, it kills me. But there is a way, like I did talk to somebody, and I'm not sure if it'll be possible, but I do have connections to get a hold of somebody I might have sold a couple knives to back in the day, that I thought about contacting and seeing if I could still get them, if they still have them, or if it's still possible for me to get them back. I doubt it, so I don't want to even think like that. But you know, I might try. It's just those aren't the ones, you know, but it'd be kind of cool to kind of get back a couple old knives that I used to have that I sold off, even though they don't really mean that much to me. It'd just be cool to do it. Is that the lizard knife? Yeah, that's the lizard knife. Yep. It has a lizard on it. You guys probably can't even see it, but yeah, it's got a lizard on it. Pretty cool. Man, that sound is addicting. Is it available to get? It should be available. Let me see if I can drop a link really quick. Let's see. What number was it? I just set it to. The 197. Don't nobody drop the link in because I'm gonna see if I can do my affiliate. Ah, you cunt. What? Oh, don't you start doing this. There we go. All right. Tucson TS. So what I'm doing is I'm going to my affiliate site right now to see if I can get a link for it really quick, and I'll drop it in the chat. Bang! It's $96, which for M390 titanium and bone, as well made as this is, that's not bad. Like if you bought that from another company like that, oh man, it'd be probably 150 bucks at least. At least. Let's see if I can drop it in the chat. Why can't I see this? I don't get why I can't see this video right now. Let me try going like this. I got a better idea. Here she is. Turn this down. All right, here it comes. Bang! There is the link. If you want a pry bar, buy a Praetorian. That's hilarious. That's basically what they are. Medford makes some good knives, but he makes some pry bars as well. But yeah, here's the link for anybody who wants to get one. I feel you. I had a see, I'm a collector. I'm a collector, man. So like since I was a kid, even broke as hell, not having nothing, I collected things. So things that I never would have thought would have been worth money, but later on in life they wound up being worth money, like baseball cards, basketball cards, things like that. Even old magazines, like because like tearing down houses and things, I'd find things. I'd find like old newspapers, old magazines, and later on in life, like they'd wind up being worth money. So because of that, it wound up getting me addicted to collecting. Even coins, I did gold, silver, coins for a long time. I've made a lot of money off of gold and silver. You guys wouldn't even believe the amount of money I've made off of collecting, off of gold, silver, and coins. So much. But yeah, it's crazy the things that like depending on the times, like because the prices go up and down on things, and when it's time to buy, it's time to buy. When it's time to sell, and it's like at a lot of times I was buying and selling at the same time. Like I'd buy things off the streets and sell them to my connections, and I was making a killing, like a killing. You ever heard of a three-legged dog knives? Yep. I have a Magna Custom on the way if you want to try it out. No shit. Well, check this out. I actually talked to them 5 months ago or so, and I talked to them about possibly sending me a knife. He said yes. He said absolutely. And he said when he gets caught up, he would send me a knife. And I said, that's awesome because I've never tried one of them. So I'm hoping that goes through, but he never wound up contacting me again after that. But I figured it'd be months until he got back to, squaring things off. So let me talk to him. But if not, I'll definitely check it out. Absolutely. Spanky, keep fighting the good fight, brother. Keep fighting the good fight. I'll take a gold double edge or a gold double eagle any day. I bet you would. I bet you would. I had some of those. I had everything. Like, no, I'm not gonna say everything, but I had lots. I went through a bunch of gold coins, all different kinds, even from different countries. But let's talk about knives because I know people in here like they're not like this is a knife channel. What the fuck are we talking about basketball cards and coins for? What the hell did I write? Oh, pull through sharpeners. So even though we were talking about this goes back to the budget thing, okay? So if you're on a budget and you're wanting a sharp knife, there's one thing that I advocate not to do. Do not buy a pull through sharpener. Do not do that to yourself. I know it seems great. They'll tell you world's best knife sharpener, only $10.99, or world's best knife sharpener, $3.99. You're going to pay $10.99 or $3.99 to destroy your edge. Do not do that. Don't buy a pull-through sharpener. It will only wreck your edge. All it's doing is it's pulling what is it, a carbide bit or wheel or whatever down your edge. And it's never going to be a perfect apex. It's going to tear your edge up. Don't do it. It'll feel sharper for sure, but it's just, you might as well just scratch it across glass or scratch it across a brick or something. You're not going to get anything out of it. I'm not saying that you guys haven't experienced an okay messed up edge. Like I remember back in the day, I used to have them for like my fishing knives and hunting knives, and I pulled some edges through those things, and I thought they got sharper. They get sharper for 2 minutes. They get sharper until you cut something. That's what happens. That's exactly what happens. They get sharper until you make another cut. And they just destroy your edges. So, like, to me, when I see that, I cringe. I cringe when I watch another knife channel and I see them grab one of those things and they pull their knife through it. My skin just goes like, oh, I can't stand it because I know what's happening to the edge. Yes, they are going for crazy prices now. Yeah, you always have that thought of man, I wish I would have known this was going to happen, or man, I wish I would have known, that was the time to buy that. It's kind of like the people like if you would have bought Bitcoin when the movie White Girls came out or whatever, if you would have bought Bitcoin instead of buying that DVD White Girls for $12 or whatever it was, you'd be a millionaire today. But I mean, you just kind of got to know the market. That's why it's good to be like, I'm not going to say one thing, but it's good to be educated in a few things, like really, really good, whether it's like say gold, silver, coins, knives, whatever, right? Just good in something to where you kind of know the market and you know the things to buy, to stay away from, and things, like, because let's be real, you could make a lot of money in the knife game. Facts. But you'd have to spend a lot of money. Like custom knives. There's certain custom knives, if you buy, the next day you can sell them for a lot more money because they're so exclusive. And there's a lot of people that do that. And there's a lot of people that are shunned for doing that. But like when you're talking about at shows, right? When people get into raffles, right? Yeah, the raffles. When people get in those raffles, people make a killing off of those sometimes, like especially from the custom knives. They get in for, say, or even the ones where they actually buy the knife outright. They actually buy the knife, right? But they are able to buy the knife for $1,000. But there's a guy in the corner that'll pay $5,000 for it right now. That shit happens every day, or not every day, but every show. Every like custom show. But there's people that do way more than that. Like they constantly play the game where they buy a knife that they know will for sure sell for more money. Like some of those guys that sell those exclusive Spydercos, I think it's crazy, but the people that want them, they pay crazy money for them. Yeah, $5 to peel off your edge. Exactly, Spanky. Exactly. You can pay $5 to fuck your edge up. Mike is live now. Okay, we'll get out of here. We'll spend 5 more minutes just to fuck with Mike. By the way, guys, don't forget to make sure you tell Metal Complex that I'm coming for him, slowly but surely. And remember, if you guys help me watch some of my videos, we might be able to get some of those new subs coming. Just messing around, but I'm so like, it blows my mind that we're at 22K right now. It's crazy, but it is going back, not down like below 22K, but the subscriber count, it's still up. Like, I mean, it's up like over 4,000 a month, which is crazy. And I know some of the channels in here are like, man, I wish I could get 4,000 in a month. And I get you, man. I get it. I can't, even imagine getting 4K a month, and it's happening right now. So it's nuts, but it is dropping pretty fast. So I'll be back down to a normal, regular, subscriber count soon. But I'm very grateful for all the new subscribers. Breeze, it's not all cracked up to be used cars. Yeah, everybody's gonna say that, but you just don't want nobody getting into used cars, fucking your game up. You want to be the only used car salesman. Bought an AD15 custom, and someone saw me buy it off me $1,800. 15 minutes later. Exactly. I've been offered money for every single one of my knives. I just turn them down, but I get offered. I am going to do a knife sale after the new year because I'm going to have to recoup some money for the new knives coming. But I am going to do a pretty large knife sale. But yeah, some of the knives that I have, like that were gifts, I get offered money for all the time. And like even the Spartan, people have offered me money for this thing so many times. Nope, it was a gift, guys. It was a gift. Too sentimental. Not saying there aren't some knives that were gifts that I wouldn't sell because I have something else that I'm like focused on, and I would just look at it like that. Like the person would want me to do that, right? Like if there's something like you are like, I gotta have this, right? And this I'm not carrying, I could sell this and get that. Like, of course, but there's certain knives that it's like, nah, I'm not selling that. Nah, not happening. Because I've had people offer me money that it's like, you guys know, like the money that it's like, offer him something he can't refuse type of money. Offer him something you can't. How about if I give you something you can't refuse? It's like, I don't even want to hear it. Don't even tell me. Don't even tell me the amount. Oh, shit. Do you think lots of custom knives usually lose value if you watch YouTube channel knife sales? The customs always sell for a dramatic price cut. Yes and no. So this is how it goes. There's the small amount of makers that don't go down. So the new makers, the new upcoming makers, yes, but you can already buy those knives at a great price already because they're up and coming. But those same makers, those exact same makers, if you get them now while they are small, next year that same knife will sell for double. For sure. There's a bunch of makers like that. You'll hear it all the time where people are like, man, I wish I would have got in on his books when he was selling customs for $500. That happens every day. There's people up and coming that are doing amazing work. They just don't have a name yet, but they're trained, taught, and learned from the guys that already have a huge name. So it's good quality. It's just they don't have the name yet, so they can't charge you a crazy amount. But next year, guess what? The prices will be double to triple. Now, then there's the guys that they have a name. They're like Bob Drzola, right? Bob Drzola. A Bob Drzola custom. His prices, they don't go down. You don't buy a Bob Drzola today and then lose 60% tomorrow. A lot of times, especially if you wind up getting like certain knives, it's going to be worth more. It'll be worth more. And like so many different guys. There's a bunch of them. Those knives, like even Sharp by Design, a Sharp by Design custom. There's a lot of customs out there that if you get a hold of that custom, you can sell it for more money if you get it for the table price, because it's like that's a one of a kind, right? It's a one of a kind. So it's not like there's 5 others that are, that you can like price range. So it's whatever you say it's worth after you buy it. Like you might have bought it for $1,500 or $2,500, but it's a one of a kind. Or you'll get the ones where they made like 10 of them, right? 10 of them, but you have 10,000 people that want it. Well, you're one of the lucky 10 and you got it for $1,200. But guess what? 10,000 people are trying to offer you $2,000 right now for it. That happens all the time. All the time. You just got to know. You got to know the market. You got to know who those guys are, when they're selling, when to get on their books, which models are the good ones to get into. But if you know it, you just know. Everyday EDC. Oh shit, almost forgot there was a live. You're late. We're about to get out of here because Mike Emler's live, and I appreciate the donation though, man. Thank you so much. We're gonna stay for a couple more minutes, but yeah, I guess I didn't know Mike was going live, but maybe I should have. Yeah, Brian Nadeau. Yeah, for sure. That's another one. Brian Nadeau's shit. Like that shit's gonna go for a lot of money. Yeah, there's a few. Phil Wilson. You know, somebody I know in the community right now that might just be in this chat right now has a damn knife that was made for the Navy SEALs, and it's worth like $5,000 right now, 5 or 6 grand. Oh, what the fuck, Chuck? Thank you again for the next donation. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Well, yeah, we've been going for 2 hours. 7:30, 8:30, 2.5 hours. Sorry, 2.5 hours. Damn, it didn't even feel like 2.5 hours. Like the little who wait. Jim Q says, like the little who wait outside Best Buy to get PlayStations on Black Friday and then sell them the same weekend for more. Right. Exactly. When you can get on those, I can't think of what they're called. What are they called? Where you like, you win a chance to get on the books. What's that called? It's called something. I can't think of what it's called, but you basically just win a chance to buy it. Think about that. That guy, his name is so big that you can't even get on his books. You have to win a chance to get on his books. That's nuts. Think about that. Like, it's not like these other guys that are like, hey, my books are open. Everybody gets on the books. Oh, no. You have to win a chance to get one of my knives. Not even win a chance to get my knife. Win a chance to buy it from me. Think about that. You can win a chance for me to sell you a knife. A lottery. Thank you. A lottery. Yes. A lottery. That's nuts. To win a chance just to buy it. Can you imagine the people that thought they were going to win the knife? Can you imagine being that guy? I want a Bob Terzola. And then you get up there like, and he's like $2,500. And you're like, no, I won. Yeah. You won a chance to give me $2,500, Buster. Oh, that would suck. But you know what though? If you got that 2,500, guaranteed you could turn around and sell that same knife for like $5,000, probably at least. Con, thank you, man. Have you reviewed an AD20 tie? I got one and can send you for review. Tie scales, change knife. I don't have the tie one. I never tried the tie one, but I do got a G10 one. You know, I would check it out. I don't know if I would put a review or anything up because I've already got a bunch of videos on this one. I mean, I guess I'd probably show it just so people know how I feel, but I bet it makes it just that much better, but I just can't imagine this thing being any more solid than it already is. Mine is a vault, man. Like I couldn't pry, man. This thing is such a tank that I can imagine a titanium version just being insane. Like, listen to that. That's a lockup. That is so strong, man. Such a tough knife. That's a hard use knife. Somebody left a comment yesterday or whenever saying that that no I forget exactly how they put it. Like, what do you say to somebody who thinks that there is no such thing as a hard use folder and that all fixed blades would outbeat a folder, something to that extent? And it's like, well, you obviously have never tried or know anything about a triad lock or a shark lock, because to say something like that, that's very ignorant, because I guarantee this knife would outdo a lot of fixed blades, a lot of them. Yeah, there's going to be some that outdo it, but that lock is just so strong. It's insane. Insane. I've got a friend that makes $1,000 a day doing tattoos. He's booked for years. Millionaire 25. That's crazy. That's crazy. You wake at 4? Yeah, I get up early too. I usually get up around 4 or 5. Past couple weeks though, man, I've been getting up a little late because of you fucks. You guys got me sleeping in. There, they never heard of a Medford. Well, I carry a fixed blade and a folder at the same time every day. But we understand though that there are some knives out there that are built to be used like fixed blades, right? Like, not saying you're going to actually use it like a fixed blade, but it can handle that. This knife is capable of doing what other folders can't. That's the point, right? It's kind of like this knife. This knife is capable of doing things that even this knife can't do, right? It's just a fact. This knife would break before I would be able to break probably 100 knives before breaking this one, putting it through whatever. Like, it's just, yeah, like a triad lock. Like, they're made for that type of shit. Average Joe, my AD 20.5 needs to tie scales bad. I'm surprised there's not more CNC makers making tie scales for the 20.5. I'm just surprised, but I'm sure you guys already know that old Demco's got some 20.5s in D2 coming, and I believe some 80/20s skinny versions coming in D2 as well. So I'm guessing they're going to be like a budget version of the 80/20. It'll be an 80/20 skinny in D2. I don't know how much money they'll be. Don't even ask me. But those are on. They're going to be coming. I seen a video from Demco. Yeah, I agree, Shane. I wish Microtech would do more folders. That would be so awesome. That'd be so awesome. I would love to see Microtech do more folders. Like, I was really excited to see ProTech doing more folders. You ever sharpen with Japanese water stones? Oh yeah, absolutely. They're really good. I think depends, but well, you know what? If you want to use some really good Japanese water stones that are cheap, you can get King stones. King stones are great. They're affordable. They're a lot, pretty affordable. Um, but yeah, I prefer diamonds. I prefer stones that like I got a bunch. I probably got 50 different kinds of stones. I just prefer diamonds over everything. I prefer the less work. Not meaning sharpening wise, but that too, right? What cuts the fastest I prefer, but I also prefer like the less mess. I don't want to mess. I don't want to have to deal with the water. I don't want to have to deal with the shit. I just want to just splash and go. So, but there's a lot of great stones up there, and I still love water stones. I still love those type of stones. I love the way they feel. I love the way they sound. I mostly would like to use them on like kitchen knives and shit, because like for these types of steels, M390, 20CV, 3V, all those types of steels, I just don't think that they're the best. I would rather use diamonds. So you guys are going to keep me here by giving me donations because I don't leave till donations stop. Thank you. Thank you, Con. I had the 80/20 in D2 on the first release, Grivery 350. And wait, Grivery 350 and G10 375. I didn't like it, if I'm honest. Same size as the 80/20 with thinner blade. Oh, no shit. Well, that's awesome. See, I haven't seen any of the thinner ones, so I honestly can't speak on them because I never tried them. I've tried the 20.5s and the 20. And 20.5, I like it. I think it's great. I have one. I would sell it though, to be honest. It's a great knife, good knife. It's not a 20, right? It's not a 20. It's a 20 point, which they're great. Everybody who has a 20.5, that's awesome. I think it's a great knife. And I was excited to see him implement the lock mechanism in another knife. Now, I would love to see him do it again. I want to see him continue to make shark lock knives. I just want to see a different knife. That particular knife wasn't the one for me personally because of the FRN. Let's be honest, because of the FRN. If it would have been G10, I probably would have been screaming from the hilltops. And I know I could buy it and replace it with carbonized scales and micarta scales. Benjamin, thank you, man. Fist bump to you, brother. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But yeah, I could replace the scales. I just don't know if it's worth it. I've already got 150 in the knife. If I get scales, that's another $70. I mean, yeah, it would make it a lot better for me. And I'd probably like it a lot more because the one thing that does get to me about that knife is them damn Griffey scales. But this thing is just a vault. And that's what I love about it. So I would love to see regular knives like this with a shark lock or any knife, whatever. This with a shark lock, just like a titanium folder. And eventually we will. Eventually we will. It's just, you know, obviously it's his shit, his design, his patent, whatever. So it's going to be a while till we start seeing shit like that, you know. But I want to see it though. Wish the 80-20.5 was 3B. Right. Yeah. I would too. See, that's where I can start seeing the value a little bit more. Right now, I see it's a cold steel. It's a cold steel with a $90 lock that I think is awesome. I just want to say, I was screaming from the hilltops when I heard those were coming out, but it's just not what I wanted. Or I don't know. It's hard for me to say because I think it's such a good knife. I wish the blade, the handle ratio is better on the 20.5. Yeah, well, I wish that too. I wish that too. And I heard a bunch of people say that. That too. I wish, because the FRN feels so cheap to me on it. That's the one thing. It feels so cheap. I love the knife. I love the locking mechanisms. I think that's awesome. But damn it, man. Like, I can't imagine G10 would have been much more money for that much money. And then if I want to get different scales, I got to pay like $70 more. Now I'm over $200 just to get some good scale. Man, it winds up pushing the limit. And I'm not blaming anybody who did that. I almost did that. So trust me, I get it. I almost want to still. Hey, man, got to steal. Thank you, man. Much love, brother. Keep up the amazing work. I got to get back to designing something now. You get back to some knife designs. Thank you. Thank you. Ruben, thank you for the donation, man. I see Mike Emler's live. We're just getting all his donations. Thank you guys for giving me all Mike Emler's donations. Anybody else who wants to donate the Mike Emler's donations, donate them now. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are awesome. Thank you. You guys are great. Just keep on giving me Mike Emler's donations. Oh, I see Lefty's in here. Lefty Late. That's his new name. Lefty Late. Late Lefty. What's up, bud? Just by. That's what I was talking about. The fat carbon from Carbonize. I said because I remember when I first seen those and I literally almost got them. Like I was like this close. I even talked to him and everything, got the price, and I was like on the verge of grabbing them. And that's why I was like, man, I don't know if I want to spend between $70 and $130. Is that what was it? 70 for the micarta, 100 for the for the fat carbon? Was it something like that? But I was like, damn it, man. That means this knife will be up to like $250 now. And I already have the real deal. So I just couldn't, like, it's like, man, if I get scales like that, why wouldn't I just get them on this? Why would I buy, like, that's what my mind was saying. I love that knife. And then I thought about it, like, maybe I should because it's a smaller, more slicier version. I don't know, man. I never did. And I probably would in the future when I have some extra cash. Now I'm not buying these cheap ass Chinese Amazon knives to get views from. I'll probably do it. Shit, I got that React coming. I can't believe it's not here yet. I just got Arctic ones. I seen that. They look fire. They really do. He does backspacers now. 140 with the backspacer. Yeah, okay. So it's 130 plus 10. Okay. Yeah. Does the backspacer make it feel more solid? Mine's over there, but I wonder if that makes it feel more solid. I got to imagine the fat carbon, it makes it feel more solid right off the bat. So I bet if I did throw them on there, man, it would just feel real good. Thanks for the good vibes, people. Hope y'all have a great night, morning, wherever you are. Keep up the great work, Neeves. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Edge retention seems like poop. Yeah, that's the one problem I did. And I'll be honest, man, and I've said this a few times on here. I have no problem with OS 10. I like OS 10. Even Kubi's OS 10. Kubi has some good OS 10. I've had good experiences with it. I've had good experiences with Cold Steel's OS 10. For whatever reason, I believe they probably come from the same factory. I can't say why. For whatever reason, that OS 10 on my 8020.5 does not do as good. I don't know. Maybe they rushed it. I can't say why. But for whatever reason, I do not get, even sharpening it, it does not feel like Cold Steel's OS 10. It does not feel like Kubi's OS 10. It just doesn't. I don't know why. I'm guessing because it was rushed. I got one of the first ones. I have no idea, but yeah, the edge retention's poop on it. I'm sorry, it is. 115 plus 25. Okay, 115. That's what it was. It feels solid as hell, man. He also does Tarot Tough. I had blue ones. I am just bougie. Yes, you are. Like I said, man, I almost did it. I even just to brown my card, because I think when I originally was going to get the fat carbon, it was because I had no fat carbon. And it was like, I need some fat carbon in my life. You know that feeling where you've had like everything and it's like, what's the one thing I don't have? And it's like, fat carbon. I need some fat carbon. And I almost did. But I can't help but think of how, man, that brown micarta that he has looks really nice as well. And it's cheaper. But yeah, fat carbon. It just be like that sometimes. I love OS 10, but not them because yeah, I don't know what it is, man. Um, it's not whatever it is. I'm guessing it's rushed. I'm guessing they're rushing it because I've dealt with so much OS 10. I've never had an issue like I have with that OS 10. It just doesn't seem like it gets that sharp. It doesn't hold an edge. It seems like it goes to shit right away. Like I know it's thick too, which does play a part. It's thick. But damn it, man. I laid back my edge. I laid back my angle. I did everything possible. Things that I've done on other OS 10 and had it respond really good. Doesn't make any sense. I want him to do fat carbon scales for the 5.5. What other knives does he do fat carbon for? Or does he just do like, because I've talked to him a couple times, but I don't know all the knives he actually does do aftermarket scales for. I did try to get him to do some churros before, but he don't do churros. That's awesome, Shane. That's badass. That's what I would get. If I was gonna get one of those, I'd get the manual one too. The ProTech. I've always wanted to try one of those ProTech button lock manuals. That's what I'm saying, Todd. I've never had a problem with and it's got to be the same factory. There's no way it's a different factory. There's no way. They're both in Taiwan. It's got to be the same factory. So it's got to be the same exact steel. It's just, I'm guessing somebody else is heat treating it. Maybe they went to a different company. I don't know, because Cold Steels was always really, really good. And that's why, to be honest, when I heard it was OS 10, I wasn't even upset. It was like, it's OS 10. That's a little expensive for OS 10. But I don't like to play that game where it's like, oh, for this price, it should be this. Not necessarily, because like with some companies, like say that are doing S35, and it's like you would rather have M390. Well, that's fine, but that company might not be able to do M390, meaning it'll be bad if they do it. They might not be able to grind it. They'll end up burning it. They'll fuck it up. And then in that case, you're like, I wish it was S35 instead of M390 because this M390 sucks. So I'm never the kind of person that's like, it should be better steel. But OS 10 for 150, that's pushing a line where it's like, come on, it could be better steel. But I still wasn't like that completely. I was like, I understand. I understand to an extent. He's trying to push out a bunch of knives, blah, 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 blah. And Cold Steel's OS 10's awesome. That's what I thought. Then I got it. And I thought maybe my edge was just burnt. Resharpened it again. And I just, it never, even when it was as sharp as it could possibly be fresh off the stone, it still was never as sharp as any other knife. It seems like it doesn't take a keen edge. Edge stability. We talked about it earlier. Edge stability. Being able to get that really tip of that edge just ridiculously sharp. It does not have that. It has zero edge stability. That's the problem. It's kind of like doing an 80-20 slim in CPMD too. Like, what the fuck? Exactly. Right. Bead blasted. Con, thank you. Oh, I didn't pop out. There we go. Con, thank you. I appreciate it. Ever try an uncosby custom? I don't even know what that is. Uncosby? I don't know what that is, to be honest. I'm sorry. I don't think I've ever heard of it. Are they American or is it South African? Yeah, I'll check it out. Just hit me up on Instagram or through email. I'd rather Instagram, but whatever you got. Yeah, hit me up. ProTech CPMD 2's out amazing. I've never tried theirs, I don't think. Okay. Richie says, I sharpened the 80-20.5 a few days ago at 16 degrees per side and then sharpened up and deburred great. Really great edge, too. I don't doubt that. I just, mine, I can't speak, obviously, for everybody's. Mine came from one of the first batches. I've sharpened one other one for somebody else, and it was okay. It was good. It was better than mine. I'm not going to say it was outstanding, though. Like, it didn't feel anything like Kubi's or Cold Steel's, but it was better than mine. But they probably came from the same batch, I'm guessing. And I don't doubt that some of them aren't really good. Like you just said, I'm sure that one's great. Mine, for whatever reason, man, it's not good. It's mine. I'm not speaking for everybody's. Lefty says his doesn't hold an edge. Mine definitely doesn't hold an edge. And sharpening it, I thought at first it was just a burnt edge. Now I'm convinced that I've only sharpened it twice. But I should have never had to have sharpened it twice, to be honest. But I don't know, man. It is what it is. You know how it goes, It's probably that heat treat. Gotta run. Yeah, we're about to get out of here. Gotta run. Sorry for the short visit. It was a pleasure, as always. Come check out the stream tomorrow night. Knife Nerdery will be on, giving away a wee thug. So Lefty EDC will be thugging it tomorrow night. Go and sub to Lefty EDC's channel. Awesome channel. Watch him every day. He posts every day. So I get the joy of watching his channel every day. You guys should go over there and sub. I know he would love to have you over there. Dude, I am out, brother. Can't wait for the next Patreon giveaway. I would keep going. But okay, yeah. We're going to get out of here, Jim. I appreciate you staying. I know it's late over there in your country. Thank you for coming and joining. I love you guys over there in Australia. Neeves, have you ever tried the Kaiser Begleiter M390 Blade HQ exclusive with jade scales? If not, I can send mine, see if you want. No, I haven't. But there was something I wanted to talk about before I go. I know this is getting late. So I got the aluminum. There's a new aluminum version coming, a mini Begleiter, a new Kaiser Feist in aluminum, and I think M4, and a mini Sheepdog. I've got 2 of those coming, or the Feist and the little bag lighter. I have not tried the M390 version. I almost bought the titanium version. The Tonto, but there was something else I want to talk to you guys about. I forget now. Shit. I'll talk. You know what? I remember what it was. I'm gonna wait till next live because I'll wait for more information. I love you guys. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. You guys are awesome. Thank you to all the Patreons. And if you're not a Patreon, you might want to join the Patreon because we got some awesome shit going on over there. And I appreciate all the moderators. I appreciate everybody who joined tonight. I appreciate everybody who hit the like button. And if you didn't hit the like button, it's still not too late. Still not too late. I see nobody hit the dislike button. So I'm sorry that he didn't show up tonight. Something must have came up. Somebody check on that guy, the guy who always hits the dislike button. Somebody needs to go and check on him because it's not like him to not show up. But I love you guys. I thank you guys for everything you guys do for the channel, all the support, all the comments you guys give, all the help you guys give in the comments, and all the help you guys do for the channel. You guys are amazing. Peace.